Come on in the room. 139-106. Minnesota Timberwolves take down the Milwaukee Bucks tonight. Come on in the room. Doc sucks. Doc, listen, I don't have any kind words to say about anybody, about anything that happened tonight. Tonight was an abomination. Tonight, um, tonight's one of those nights, and I don't know how much we're actually going to talk about the game, unless you guys want to get into, because the game tonight was not really important. 139-106. Come on in the room. We are live. Cream City crossover. Groove Travis the third.
JT.
Chris King.
I think we'll get Justin in a second. He's been having some technical difficulties, some issues here. At On Your T's Q's 973 on the Twitter. Get at us in the chat. 139-106 was the final. Like the game. I mean, the Bucks got out. I mean, this game started. Minnesota comes out on a run. The Bucks every night they give up a government mandated, 3-pointer to get. That's how the game starts every night. Every night you find the opponent's first shot is like a make or it's a three. That just has to happen. So that happens, of course, on schedule. And then it went downhill. They proceeded to shoot every shot they wanted, open looks, got everything they want, put it in. They scored. Bucks had a little mini run. And in the mini run, got themselves, within like 3 or whatever it was. And Giannis had to take his seat because he, has a minute restriction. And then the route was on from that point. Minnesota just didn't stop. They would not stop. Trina's saying Doc said they had no legs. I don't want to hear that shit at all. I don't want to hear no excuse. Only two coaches, most excuses in the entire NBA, JJ Redick, Doc Rivers. I don't want to hear nothing about no tired legs, nothing like that. But yeah, I think again, I'm not even talking a recap. I mean, Randall had tweeted. Everybody in Minnesota had a lot of points. Everybody in Milwaukee didn't. Like that's the recap. Like I don't have a lot. I mean, Giannis out here booing the crowd. Crowd booing them. Giannis booing the crowd. All right, what the hell is what is happening? Rick, we're talking about the pulling Giannis, and I don't understand any of that because okay, if he's on a minutes restriction, that's fine. But then it was like you're chasing the minutes tonight. When you get out 30, you're trying to chase these minutes. And when the reality, the time you should have chased them was the other night against Denver, where if Giannis plays a few more minutes, you probably win that game. But you chased the minutes tonight, and Giannis didn't even hardly play in the fourth quarter. He played a couple minutes, whatever it was. And he got to 31. So anyway, terrible night of basketball for the Milwaukee Bucks. No Rudy Gobert, no Anthony Edwards, and the Minnesota Timberwolves absolutely whooped the Bucks' ass tonight. But that's the game. And again, I'm not doing a recap. I'll leave you guys if you want to talk about the game. My discussion, thought point, and concern overall is where do you go from here? Because this is the kind of loss you go 2-2 on your road trip, and then you lose to Minnesota, and then you come back, and now you have the next 4 games are the top 5 seeds in the West. You are what, 17 and what are the Bucks now? 17 and 24?
23.
17 and 23? This is the breaking point right here. Like this is because again, my thought was okay, the 50 game mark, can we get to 25 and 25 and then let's sprint for 32 games to the finish? you already got 23 losses. You're not going to be fine. You're not winning 8 of the next 10 and going to be 25-25. That's not happening. So, and we know what's happening with this group that you currently have constructed. Spears says, "Wait, Giannis booed the crowd." Yes, he did, and I didn't even understand that. I didn't know what he was doing at first, and I saw on Twitter. I was like, "Oh, he was booing the crowd because they booed them at halftime." I didn't even know. I thought it was kind of cool at first, and then people said, "No, he was booing the crowd." Oh, damn. That's interesting. So that's my question. If you're not, so now you're talking about, can you potentially get to 500 at the 60 game mark? And you only got 7 games left. So can you get to 30-30? And you only got 7 losses left before 30-30 means you can't get to 500 at that point with a 20 game sprint to get to it. Yeah. Turner was out. Someone was Turner. So that's where you are. And again, this is what I'm leaving you with, or my thoughts are, where do you go from here? And this is the kind of loss, knowing what you have coming up, knowing that your easy part of the schedule where you're supposed to make a run, you didn't do it. These are the kind of losses that, and we talked about, do you fire Doc? Ooh, that's punting the season. I don't know if that makes sense. At this point in the season, 17-23, you get to the point where, does it matter anyway? Because it's a difference firing an Adrian Griffin when you're 30-13, when you are rolling, when you're winning at a 70% clip. And I know, well, it's all bad. I know, but they were 30-13. They were winning basketball games. Like the question, because again, that was the smart people when Adrian Griffin was winning these games at 30-13 said, well, it can't get no worse than not having a coach. That's what I said. You didn't have it can't get no worse. 30-13. It can't get no. Well, it did get worse. Now we're at the point of, oh, it can't. Can it get worse? Is Darvin Ham worse? Is Dave Yeager worse? Can it get worse? I don't know that it can get worse than losing by 45 to the Brooklyn Nets, losing twice to the Washington Wizards, being in dogfights with the Charlotte Hornets, losing to the Minnesota Timberwolves, without their star player, losing to the Denver Nuggets G League team. I don't know that it can get worse than this with a superstar playing. So this is the kind of loss tonight where you're down 30, you lose by 30, whatever it is, could have lost by 40. This is the kind of loss where you go, do people get fired? Do trades get made ASAP? Do you start thinking, dare I say it, I'm just going to put it out there. Do you start thinking this is beyond repair and we need to think about the inevitable of, yeah, maybe it is. Maybe trading Giannis is the most appropriate thing for this basketball team because this thing is dead. I'm not saying I would do that. I'm not saying it's the route I would go. I'm just saying if those are the thoughts that are creeping in your head, blow it up, it's over. I'm saying you're not. I don't know. It is stupid. That's what I'm saying. I'll go to Super Chats and I'll let you go, JT, because that's all I got. And these are genuine questions. I don't know at this point, but we do know one thing. I'll leave it. And we do know one thing. The definition of insanity is what?
Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
Exactly. And at this point, if you're going to roll out this same basketball team night after night after night, you're doing the same thing and you're getting the same result. Super Chat Steelerface 21 says, this shit's over, fellas. Time to sit back and watch the franchise burn to the ground. They need to either deal him, sit him, or tank or trade him in the offseason. It's over. There is no fix. So Steelerface says no fix. I don't know. Listen, and I'll apologize to the people in the chat that I've berated and talked bad about for suggesting such, because you might be right. I've tried to look on the positive lens. I don't know. Still face. Another super chat says, on another note, the Bucks organization sent out renewal paperwork for season tickets. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Hell, what? Hell nah. Hell nah. Boycott. boycott. No, damn. See, he says price is exactly the same. They got to eat them shits next year. They're gonna give them out for free at Silk, at the BP, on the street. They gonna give them out everywhere. They gonna give them out everywhere.
You know, tape it to the Jets pizza box. Hey, here you go, some free Bucks tickets. I mean,
it's gonna be everywhere. NYC Randy super chat. Appreciate you. Says if you're not Greek, you should not be on this roster. But in the trade week, Rollins 8 of 36 in the last 3, but he's untradeable to Bucks fans. We are ass. I better see something by Horst. Do something. Rollins has lost all confidence. And last I say, JT, before again, I hate. So I don't like this. I hate that it happened. I hate that the Bucks have turned into this. But I always feel vindicated because you had real people who were convinced that KPJ was like the reason the team was losing. Like it's a scapegoat shit. I get so tired of. Well, KPJ, it's all KPJ. If you take KPJ off the ball and all these smart people that think they know what they're talking about, I be telling you, they don't know shit. They just be yapping. If you do this and you got it, and if you get him, the team is ass. Stop talking. It ain't not one guy's fault. The entire team is ass. They're slightly less ass when Giannis is on the court. But other than that, it's a lot of ass. It's Big Sean records. And we talk about ass. That's what we looking at. That's all I got, JT, man. I don't got nothing, man. Go ahead. I ain't got nothing.
I mean, you're not everything you said. I can't disagree. I think there's a couple things that really bother me about this loss, though, and that is the fact that, I mean, no, like you said, no Gobert, no Anthony Edwards. If somebody tells you we lost tonight, what was the final score tonight? 138 to what? If somebody tells you we lost by 33 points without Anthony Edwards and Rudy Gobert, would you believe that? I mean, that is and the bet. That looks better than it actually was. Weren't we down by like damn near? Weren't we down by 40 at one point? Pretty sure we was down by 40 at one point. What really kind of gets me about the team, and now I'm gonna check that because I want to make sure I'm right when I say that. Yeah, we were down at one point. We were down by 41 points. I don't know what the issue is with this team. Something does seem broken. This was a bit demoralizing because it just felt like, hey, we would have a chance to compete in this game, and to come out and to be down 18 after that first quarter, to see nothing change, no sense of urgency, no nothing. You just watch these guys kind of lollygag their way through. I don't get it. But what really bothers me about this loss is that let's take a look here, because you got to look at things. I always say this all the time, right? You got to look at things in the aggregate. So December 27th, we get a win against the Bulls, right? 112-103. We get a win against the Hornets, 120-113. We say, hey, maybe we'll build some momentum here. Then we take an L to the Wizards, right? We come back, we beat the Hornets again. We beat the Kings. Hey, we're gonna get momentum again. No, we take an L to the Warriors, right? We beat the Lakers. We take an L to the Nuggets. We take an L to the Thunder. It's just like, at what point is the urgency there for this team to start putting together, to consistently put together solid games here? Yes, you got a couple of wins against some of the worst teams in the NBA, but I don't understand where the fight is in these guys. Have these guys given up? Is people at this point just collecting a check? I'm not really sure what it is. And I think what bothers myself and you guys, and I'm assuming most people in the chat, is that why does it feel like the Bucks fan base is more optimistic and hopeful than the guys on the court? Like, it seems like these guys can do so much better, but they're willing to settle for just doing so much less. It doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. You talk about Giannis booing the crowd. I don't know what they got going on, right? But something just seems broken. Something is wrong with this team. The crazy part about tonight's game, though, from a numbers perspective, it doesn't look awful for the Bucks. But if you watch the game, you're like, man, it was truly terrible. I mean, you had Minnesota shooting. You know how we talk about teams being in the 40-40 club, right? 40% from the field, 40% from three. 50-50 club, right? Minnesota in that first half was in the 60-60 club. They were shooting 60% from the field and like 62% from three. I mean, are you serious? How does this happen? I don't know. They got 54 points from their bench tonight, which is crazy. I don't know where you go from here, but I'll say this, and I'm gonna let you go, Chris, next. You've got to find somebody that can motivate these guys. You either got to motivate these guys, if that's even possible, or you do got to start shipping bodies out. And I don't like that because I like some of the guys on this team and this core, but this just isn't working. But I'll make this last point. John Morant ain't the answer. I'll tell you that. You can't bring John Morant in here and think he's going to solve anything at all with the way this team is playing in this locker room and everything else. Guys, I'm starting to worry. Has Doc lost the locker room? Do you guys think if Doc hasn't lost the locker room, are we a game away from that happening? I don't know. I have no answers for any of this.
Yeah, I don't have any answers either. I think the thing that is most discouraging is that you went and fired Adrian Griffin, and I'm not here to make this a big deal because Trey has already hit on it, but you went and fired him for beating teams not by a wide enough margin, and you turn around and you hire a guy who has lost to every team in every single way possible. You got smoked by the Brooklyn Nets, who are terrible, by 45 points. This show we did a 9-minute show that day. You play a shorthanded Nuggets team, and you come out again lazy, unmotivated. Nobody's there but Giannis. Nobody shows up but Giannis. You lose to them in a tight game, and then you turn that around and you go get blown out again by the Minnesota Timberwolves shorthanded. So I don't know where the justification was to make that decision to fire Adrian Griffin. And then that's another thing, right? Like, you asked that question, JT, and I don't believe you're wrong for asking the question, did they lose the locker room? That's half of these guys in the chat that are telling us that Adrian Griffin lost the locker room. So I think, you see the parallels in those two instances, and you honestly, Trey, you're speaking facts when you say this is a somebody get fired type of loss. It is. Because you have tried to build some momentum when Giannis has came back, and it has gone now back down to 6 games under 500. It was at 8 before Giannis came back. So you're getting nowhere. Moves, firings, they have to be made. They have to be made ASAP, because otherwise you're – and I don't know if that saves the season at all either if you got this guy at the helm of the team, but – something has to be done, because I think everybody's on the hook.
Before Justin goes, let me get a couple more super chats in. Justin, are you giving Doc Rivers?
Yeah, I got you.
I definitely got to do the chats. I really need a drink before whatever the hell Doc Rivers had to say today, because I know he's about to piss me off. Simon Burf super chat says, guys, honestly, why throw away the 2031 pick at this point? Both parties deserve a split, while they can gain a fresh start and retain the legacy. Simon, we'll come back to that point, because that's what I think we're going to focus. To me, anybody do whatever. That's what I want to focus on, is what is future. Like tonight, there's no reason to talk about tonight. I know Doc's going to tell us about dead legs and bullshit like that, but tonight's not even regardless. So I want to come back to that, Simon Burr. Appreciate the super chat. I want to come back to what you're talking about here about splitting while you can, retain legacy. We can get to that tonight. And then another super chat. The last Quincy says, I don't see how it's not coaching. That's the real problem at this point. Also, no one on the trade market would save a team whose effort is like this. Maybe I have some thoughts on that too. I have some thoughts on what JT said. I'll save them on the John Morant. I'll save my thoughts there. I guess I'll say this though on the effort piece. When you came out in the third quarter, and again, there was a 30-point game. You got to night. What they get? I think they got to 18, maybe. Yeah, you should start a game like that. And of course, Giannis goes out, Lee goes right back to 30. But that's how you have to play at all times. Giannis finally went. Julius Randle, somebody said, Julius Randle was getting into him, and then Giannis took to the third quarter for Giannis to match the intensity and match the energy. Everybody's got to do that. I don't know if they've lost it. I don't think Doc Rivers has lost the locker room. I really don't. I think he's just coaching them poorly. I don't think he's lost the locker room, and I think they're a poorly coached team. I think the roster is rough outside of Giannis, and I think when you get down 10, 12, 15, I don't care who the coach is. I think you start to lose something. But appreciate the super chat. I will get back to your point, Simon, about the pick and what you want to do. We'll that'll be a main kind of theme in the show. Justin, sorry about that.
All right, we'll just go right to Doc Rivers. I don't have a lot tonight. Like they beat us off the dribble. First quote: "We're playing with dead legs." Tried to fight back, didn't have it. Should have pulled the starters, or should have pulled the plug earlier. It's Doc's job to stop the bad Giannis minutes, and quite frankly, he hasn't done it, and it's his fault. No excuses. He has to do a better job with this group, and it's not on the players, it's on Doc. This team had no legs. Second time mentioning no legs. No, Miles can't judge it because Miles would have had to spend a lot of time guarding the rim because, again, we stopped no penetration into the lane. Again, they beat us off the dribble. That's how they got wide open threes. Ryan Rollins is struggling in a multitude of facets. There's a lot going into that, and then it was exemplified tonight. And this was a tough. They have one more tough game, then they get 3 days off on the road. Hopefully, you'll find a way to rest and get things together. The schedule was a little bit difficult with the NBA. This game was actually the San Antonio game was supposed to be tomorrow. They pushed it back to Thursday. This was part of the NBA Cup. All that yada yada yada. I don't have a lot of stuff. I know at one time during his career, Doc Rivers was a very good basketball coach. I still think there's a lot of basketball knowledge in there, but maybe the game's past him.
Maybe.
I mean, it looks like someone trying to do something that worked 4 to 5 years ago. And also, like, when Horst got all these guys to come here in the offseason and we did our first couple shows, the chat, Twitter wasn't going crazy about bringing in a Cole Anthony. I know Amir Coffey didn't move it, but we thought Gary Trent Jr. was it. And all these guys have regressed. Is that on Doc and the coaching staff? Is that on them? I think it's something with all of them. But this effort tonight, JT, you talked about us beating bad teams, and I agree with you. But if you look at these teams on paper, these last 2 teams we lost to should have been 2 bad teams, and they find a way to beat us. So our culture needs to change. I don't know. Maybe them dudes need to go in the locker room, light some sage, get the bad spirits out of there. But it's a bad situation right now. I don't have an issue with the fans booing. You pay your money. You expect to see more effort than that. There's people that spend whatever their budget is, and that's all they have to go to that game. And they come out there and see a show like this. I mean, I'm embarrassed as a Bucks fan. I hope 34, and I hope everybody on that roster is embarrassed.
Yeah, no, they should be embarrassed. And again, that's pathetic. Doc, he did mention about, I guess in his comments that, he has to be better at certain things. And he says, no, then don't give me the excuse about the leg. I don't want to hear that. Respectfully, I don't want to hear anything about dead legs or schedules. Everybody's playing the schedule. Everybody had games that overlapped because of the NBA Cup and this or that, and you had to push a couple games back. We know the schedule's stupid, but that's the thing about the schedule. Everybody has to deal with it, and that's why I know you guys don't like. It's so funny. Nobody likes talking. It's so funny. Nobody likes to talk. I saw I think my guy Todd in here. I don't want to hear about Adrian Griffin. Right, you don't want to hear about it because you wasn't the one beating the horn saying that it was that you shouldn't have did the damn move. Right? No, I'm gonna victory lap that shit all day long because I told you shit was stupid. So no, I'm gonna go back to it. I'm sorry it didn't work out for you, but for me, I told you I beat I beat the horn. I told you so. Now throw your hands up because that made no sense. That made no sense at all. And I guess my point on the Doc Rivers thing is look at and here's the other reason why I think it's not even about it's really not about Adrian Griffin. But here's the whole thing. Look at all the coaches in the NBA. There used to be a time where, and I used to think like this, where I used to think in the NBA, coaching didn't matter. And I thought in the NFL, coaching matters a ton. NBA, you just got to massage egos and manage a locker room and make sure you don't F things up too much and keep the superstar happy. You'll win games. And for a while, that's what the NBA was. I think that was correct. That's what the NBA was. That is no longer today's NBA. Today's NBA is about strategy. Today's NBA is about getting the most out of your team. Today's NBA is about space and pace. Today's NBA isn't roll the ball out. We got the best guy. You don't have the best guy. We'll win because we got the best. That's no longer the NBA. And you have to, from offensive standpoint and defensive standpoint, you got to put a collection of guys out there that makes sense. You got to be able to win minutes that your guys aren't in, that your superstar's not in. You have to be able to do all those things. And like you said, the game has passed Doc Rivers up. It just has. And from a trade standpoint, I don't know. Again, I'm just saying, look, you want to go back to look at our coaches. Look at David Adelman in Denver, ran circles around Doc Rivers with a G League team. Look at Joe Mazzulla, who took over for what's the man who went to the front office, who was a good coach, dude from Baylor, right? Was he Baylor? No, he wasn't Baylor.
Not Brad Stevens.
Brad Stevens. I forgot where was he at though.
Butler took over.
Well, yes. Ime took over, but then, Crazy Man is in there now, and he's doing a great job.
Oh, yeah.
Look at Buddy and young Buddy in San Antonio, doing a great job with that basketball team, taking over for Pop, who I think the game has started to pass him by a little bit as well. Look at even a Charles Lee in Charlotte. Charlotte's like, again, they have a terrible record. They're not good, but Charlotte's a fun team to watch. Like, there are so many young coaches who are out there doing it and finding ways and being innovative offensively and defensively. And the Bucks settled on Doc Rivers. Another reason why, I go back, Adrian Griffin had a top 5 offense. And I get it, Damian Lillard was involved in it, but you had an offense that looked a bit innovative, that looked like you could score. And then Doc Rivers took it over and it went back to average. So, Doc Rivers is a lot of the problem. And the question, and here's my question, I'll turn it over. The question is, do you fire Doc? If you're not going to fire him, what direction are you taking with this franchise for the rest of the year? Talk about John Morant, talk about Zach LaVine, talk about Miles Bridges, talk about MPJ, first round pick. What's the direction that you're looking to go at this point?
So look, I think the thing is that if you fire, so let me take a step back. I asked a question about the locker room. We're like, and you're like, I don't know if he's lost the locker room. I don't think. And some folks in chat, some people in chat are saying yes. Some people in chat are like, well, the players are still joking and laughing with him and dapping him up. Somebody had something really interesting where they were like, the players are still laughing and joking with Doc and dapping him up and walking right past Giannis. Something happened in Denver. I don't know. Somebody had that comment there too. I think the thing is, if they haven't, and just because they're laughing and joking with him doesn't mean he hasn't lost the locker room. The players could be like, this shit don't work. Right? Like, we respect you, OG, but the shit you're saying don't really work. Like, you're just done. Like, we're not, I think you are getting to a point where you've got to do something. I think if you keep Doc around, it's more about saving face because you just fired Adrian Griffin midway through the season to bring Doc in. You fired Adrian Griffin to bring Doc in because you were scared that somebody else was going to scoop him up from the golf course. Literally, that's exactly what it was. You were scared. You just had to have him in here. So firing Doc mid-season would be beyond embarrassing for this club. And honestly, the best thing that happened to this club is Doc steps down at the end of the year or some sort of mutual parting or something, or maybe he transitions into the front office. Okay, let him go off into the sun. But you've got to do something. But the question you guys have to ask yourself is it Doc Rivers or the personnel? Because I'm saying it's both right now. We got personnel issue. Oh, no, we 100% got a personnel issue. But then Doc, and then the other thing is, hypothetically, if you fire Doc, are you comfortable letting Darvin Ham ride this thing out for 40 games? Is that something that the franchise would comfortable with? Personally, I would say, look, you got an in-house. At the minimum, he could be the interim guy. And I didn't think Darvin Ham did a bad job in LA. I didn't think he did a bad job really at all. He got kind of a raw deal, if you ask me, in LA. So, I mean, I'm not sure this franchise knows what direction he's going, but John Horst has a ton. What are we, what's today, the 13th? I'm asking y'all what day it is. That's how y'all know. Y'all know how my week is going. Let's call it the 14th, right? Let's say that, or in an hour or so.
Yeah, in hours with the 14th.
It'll be the 14th. So John Horst got roughly, let's call it 20 days to figure this thing out. You got to do something.
He doesn't have I don't think you have 20 days.
Yeah,
I really don't think you have 20 days.
Coming up into the deadline. Right. That's a good point. The deadline is 20 days away, but I think John Horst has to make a move ASAP. You got to start making moves ASAP. You do. I don't know. I mean, we talk about this all the time. Who on this roster is untouchable? Giannis, KPJ. Who on this roster at this point is truly untouchable if someone calls in a trade? And I don't know, KPJ for the right person, parting ways. I mean, I'm just at a loss at this point. And Trey said before, Justin, I think you missed it. He said, do we start thinking about moving Giannis? Do we start thinking about what we can get? Do we start considering that? Also, strongly considering that. I don't think you can take anything off the table.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's untouchable. Honestly, I'm on the same page with a lot of people in the chat. That's like, maybe this has run its course. These losses are insufferable right now. You would rather be doing that with a young core that is at least exciting to watch than do this with a playoff hopeful that's surrounded by one guy in Giannis. And you'd maybe like to honor his wish of maybe, cementing his legacy further. And this could, if he was able to turn it around with this team and this like terrible front office, terrible coaching staff, terrible role players, terrible bench players, like that would obviously cement his legacy as well. But I just don't see them being able to do it no matter what move you make, honestly. Like, I don't think any combination of a Bridges or a Ja because you got 6 guys on the bench that barely play, and then when they do play, they're incapable of being good. And certainly the coach is not going to help with putting them in the right position to succeed. So, to me, you see these teams that are on the up. You can kind of see when they make their big move or they get a couple of their young guys in there. They find a good draft pick. They get a Cade Cunningham. They get some support around them with a Durant. Like, you can kind of see the early stages of those teams starting to pick things up. And I think the only way you can do this and salvage maybe years is if you make that decision and trade Giannis. That's it.
Yeah. For me, I just look at a lot of different things, and I'm still just confused sometimes what we see every night. I was happy when we got Miles in the offseason. I thought Miles was going to be a great addition to this team. I thought he was a rim protector and everything that we needed on the Milwaukee Bucks. And it hasn't panned out that way yet. But when Horst was making these moves in the offseason, I thought that they were the right moves. And when Horst made the decision to hire Adrian Griffin, I didn't say it was the right move or the wrong move. I think what we need to do, though, we need to step back and we need to have the guys that are supposed to study the analytics, the X's and O's. Everyone needs to do their job now. We don't need the star player trying to be coach, trying to be GM. We don't need the GM trying to be the coach. We don't need the coach trying to be the GM. We got to set up these boundaries, and everyone has to perform their level at the highest level. And that's the only way I truthfully think we get back to what Bucks basketball should be. You can't have guys on a roster right now that don't belong on a roster, but they're here because this guy or that guy wants them here. And we got to start targeting these guys that this guy wants good or it looks good on paper. We got to get somebody in here that can just straight up hoop. I saw last night in person Michael Porter Jr. hoop. I tell you something. In Brooklyn Nets, they sorry as hell. They had a terrible basketball team, just like we were tonight. But that guy, that team was down 15 points in the fourth quarter. He brought them all the way back to a 2 or 3 point basketball game. And then, eventually the Dallas Mavericks did what they're supposed to do, and Cooper Flagg's absolutely amazing. And Najee Marshall played great basketball, but maybe that's the guy you bring in here who has the ability to carry a bad team and also get his own bucket. But something has to change as far as firing Doc. I mean, at this point, you have to do something to shake it up. Do I want to see Doc be fired? No. Did I want to see Griffin get fired? No. Did I want to see Bud get fired? No. But at some point, we got to do something different because this type of stuff, you got the fans divided. It's total anarchy going on right now amongst Milwaukee Bucks fans, and it's sad to see. The people are disgusted in the Pfizer Forum. You got people, and I had my Bucks shirt on in the airport coming back from Dallas today, and dude was like, "Man, y'all really struggling." And I wish I could pop back and say something. There's nothing I can say.
Here's nothing to say. Dustin Wagner super chat says the worst move is going to be making moves around the margins and keeping everything else intact. It needs to be something drastic. And Dustin, that's where I'll stop there with you. I agree. It has to be something drastic. You either, because again, there's two directions. I think Chris, and it sounds like Chris is in agreement with some people in the chat. Say, hey, it's time to cut your losses and trade Giannis and start this thing over. I'm not. I guess it's hard for me to get there. I understand people say it. It's hard for me to get there, but when I hear MPJ, I think MPJ is a move where if you had to me, the MPJ move is I got a good team and I can get to championship level with the MPJ. That's where I would bring in an MPJ. I don't think we're a good basketball team. I think it has to be more because MPJ, again, to me is a fit guy, seamless. Let me fit with this team. And I get it. He's in Brooklyn now doing all this stuff. You know how we talked about this a couple shows in a row. You know how I feel about what MPJ can bring. I just don't think it's going to be drastic. Like MPJ can't run his own team. He can't. Again, if he does, they're going to be bad like Brooklyn is. If he's your best player. John, you said that you wouldn't do John Morant. Again, I wouldn't either, but I go back to this is if you have that break glass in case of emergency, this is where you're at. And I think, it's a desperate move, but I think the Bucks are desperate. And if John Morant does not have a market and you can flip Kuzma and Bobby Portis for a John Morant, to me, you do that. And you bring in a bona fide star to come in here and play with Giannis and literally change it. And again, it may work. I don't know that it'll work. I have no clue that it will work. But that would be I would, that's my, I'm going to try something. And this is what we're going, and if I'm going to swing on a trade, you're right, Dustin. I'm not trading around the margins. Now, I would still do that because, again, if you lose Bobby Portis and you lose Kuzma, you got to do something for size. And that's where you're flipping the whole back half of that roster. And whether you use that first round pick in 2031 or not, you're just trying to figure things out. And again, where that means KPJ goes, whether that means I don't think Rollins is untouchable. I wouldn't want to trade Rollins because he's on a contract that is nice. But I don't know.
Amazing contract.
He's on an amazing. He is, and he's a young player, young stud, and you could see him getting better. But to me, I'm still all in about right now, and that's probably the direction I would go. But is Ja Morant and Giannis, and let's run this thing back and see what happens. But I fired Doc Rivers too.
Let me ask you a question. Right now, though, if you're going to get Ja Morant, if the compensation for NBA Central, you see all these networks talking about it. They want the first round pick, and that's what the first round pick for Michael Porter Jr. If the Bucks are going to make a move for both, and let's say the first round pick is not on the table, if it's between Ja Morant and MPJ, I still think, would you want to target Michael Porter Jr. looking at short and middle term here over Ja Morant, if you could? I guess, to your previous point, well, Michael Porter Jr. is probably going to have a much more robust market than Ja Morant, and the potential to overpay probably is a lot higher with MPJ. But I just feel like Michael Porter Jr. may help this team a bit more than Ja Morant.
Here's why I like Ja over Michael Porter. Again, what I was saying was, if the Bucks were good, I'd like Michael Porter Jr. because I agree with you. The fit is better. There's no question. Michael Porter Jr.'s fit is much better with the basketball team. With Giannis, there's no question. I don't think Michael Porter Jr. can be your like if you're bringing MPJ in. Like let's just imagine the Bucks were good, and let's imagine Miles Turner's playing the way like you thought he was going to play, and let's imagine KPJ and Rollins are cooking, and you got like your second and KPJ's playing like at the point guard of the future, and Rollins is complimenting. AJ Green is hitting 3 or 4 threes a night and playing good defense, and now I insert because I have Kuzma, who's a bench player, who's doing, and then you have Bobby who can score, but he doesn't play defense, and I'm implementing MPJ into that. Yes, I'd rather do that than John Morant. What I'm telling you is it's broken. KPJ is hot and cold. He was hot when he came in. Now he's in a stretch where it's okay to not good. Rollins last 3 games has been terrible. He's been awful the last 3 games. Miles Turner has played terrible since I'm not gonna say terrible. He has not played up to his standards since. What I'm telling you is the team is broken now. And I think for a broken team, John Morant is a better player for a team that has nothing than Michael Porter Jr. And you don't have to give up the first round pick to get John Morant. But again, JT, I'm not saying it's going to work. I'm just saying to me that this is what I'm trying to say. The ceiling is higher on again. Because again, in a perfect world, John Morant comes to Milwaukee with a renewed focus, leaves his guns in Memphis, and comes to Milwaukee and goes back to superstar. There was a moment where John Morant was the most electrifying player in what did I say about The Rock, most electrifying man in sports entertainment. John Morant was the most electrifying man. He was must-see TV every night.
3 years ago, John Morant was that dude. Look, and John Morant just had to stick to his guns. It just had to do it. John Morant had to stick to his guns. But no, I think the thing is, so the question, and I'll ask you guys this. If you're John Horst, though, you really have backed yourself into a corner because now you're in the pain cave. You can't get out of this mess. There's no easy, simple fix to this. But here's a question that I think John Horst has to have. There's got to be internal conversations. Do you make a move now to salvage this season? Do you go to Giannis and say, what's the best long-term move? Because we want you to sign that extension in October. What we really want is, yes, we want to not look like shit for the rest of this year and try to figure this thing out. Maybe we go to the playoffs or do something. How do we get Giannis to re-sign in October? And then based on that, if you talk about long-term potential fit and you talk about that Michael Porter Jr., you talk about bringing in somebody else here, okay, well, then that's one path you can maybe go down. But if it's like, no, if Giannis is like, I'm not re-signing until you show me you trying to do something, do you guys think that the John Morant, I mean, again, I know we're not guaranteed that, do you think that could be, like you said, Trey, he's a great player on a bad team. It's pretty much what you said. I mean, he can be a great player on a bad team. You think John Morant can turn this thing around and right this ship? Like, do you think if we do that, that gives us a chance of potentially Giannis re-signing? I get it. You got to figure out your coaching situation and some other stuff too. But do you think that's a step in the right direction to get Giannis to re-sign in October?
I think you're desperate is what I'm saying. I think, again, the answer to me is I don't know. But I think when you're desperate times call for desperate measures. And to me, that is close. That is closer. Again, you're getting I say former superstar, star, whatever. You're getting an actual guy who has been a star, who an organization gave him the keys to their franchise. That's what you're getting. MPJ's never he's never had that.
We tried this superstar thing. We tried this superstar thing.
But look, right? But I'm just saying, look where you are right now. Look where you are. You have what do you have to lose?
I hear you. But I guess the question is, this is the ultimate question between MPJ and John Morant. Do you want another superstar? Do you want a fit? Do you want a guy who's who's probably the better fit? What are we, like you said, they're desperate. And this is the worst situation to be in because now, like, what makes sense and what you do may not be the same thing. I mean, you're right. Maybe John Morant is the way to go, despite the fact that Michael Porter Jr. is probably, I mean, based on this roster, is probably the better fit. Then again, this roster could look different next year, but can you build a new roster with Giannis and MPJ?
I think here's the thing on the John Morant situation. You talked about the ceiling for John Morant, Trey, and I want to talk about, honestly, on the court, his floor is better than the floor of what we've seen with those two guards in KPJ and Ryan Rollins.
Yep.
His floor can be tremendously better than a 1 of 9 shooting night from Ryan Rollins and a 4 of 17 night. I'm talking about the Denver night at the same time in a 4-point loss. So I think that's what you're really looking at here is that John Morant, you take out one of KPJ and Ryan Rollins, bring them to the bench. John Morant's going to give you better nights than that on a consistent basis, I would say.
I agree with that point. That's what I'm saying. I think it's the dynamic kind of spark plug that kind of gets things going and changes things. But I agree wholeheartedly. The fit is there with MPJ. I think it just costs more. I think it's going to cost you more because that's the thing. If you go get John Morant, you got to go get more. Like somebody else said, Moniker says MPJ solves 3 major problems: size, rebounding, half court shot making. I don't know what problems Josh solves. To me, he solves. Could I put him out there with the bench unit and find ways to keep pace? I would think that he solves that. I don't know. Again, going with MPJ. And especially if you're Doc Rivers still the coach, I just question whether or not he's going to be used at his. I think John Morant can be more of, especially if you're talking about Doc Rivers, more of give him the ball and play versus MPJ. I just think it's gonna be. I think it has to be more of a system that makes sense, and I don't think Doc Rivers is prepared to do that. But again, I don't know. Again, I'm saying all this. I really don't have an answer. I just think you have to do something. And to me, the more drastic move is John Morant, and it gives you a star to pair. I see some people saying John wants to be in Miami. Too damn bad. So did Damian Lillard, and his ass never went to Miami. He back in Portland. So no
way Miami bringing in John.
I don't know. I don't know why they. I don't think Miami would. If I was them, I don't know that I wanted to bring in John Morant anyway.
You know what? So you're saying with John Morant, they can pretty much run the Bel Air Academy offense. They just get him in the ball, let him create, let him do his thing. Where, maybe that works. Is it a perfect world? If you bring in John, let's say he gets chemistry with Giannis. Well, what would you give up for John? Would you give up Portis?
No. I think John Morant is damaged goods. It's just like Washington. What did they give up for Trae Young? They gave up. Huh?
Didn't he go for like 1 first-round pick?
No, they gave up C.J. McCollum and Corey Kispert.
Well, they gave him any picks for Trae Young?
No, 0 picks. No. And I think John Morant has less of standing around the league than Trae Young. Because Trae Young can at least shoot the hell out the ball. John Morant has been declining recently. Again, he's been declining. He can't shoot. He doesn't really defend. And he's been beefing with the coach. And, oh, by the way, he's been suspended. Got a gun problem. Got an attitude problem.
He's already told – I got the report already told the team he's done in Memphis. So, you're right. You gotta do something unless you're petty enough to just deactivate that man for the rest of the year and move him in the offseason. Basically tell him stay away. We don't want you to come around. Treat him how Phoenix treated Jay Crowder.
Yeah. So again, so that to me, that's what you do, and then you just you look at the back end of the roster and see what's available. Because again, all those guys are unplayable. Cole Anthony's unplayable. Amir Coffey's unplayable. Sims is whatever he is. Gary Harris probably the only guy who's halfway able to play basketball. And I don't know, man. I don't. I think I'm out of options. I'm out of ideas. And again, because the other guy that people keep mentioning is Zach LaVine. I don't know if there's enough there with Zach LaVine to. And I think Zach LaVine actually makes more money than I think Zach LaVine actually makes more money than John. Is that right? I could be wrong on contracts, but I know that Bobby and Kuzma makes it happen. If you could do it for just that, I would do it. You still end up with your guards, because that's the thing, though, JT. Then you still have, if you want to trade KPJ, and try to get an actual bench player that maybe could, a bench filler role or something, then you could do that, and you probably would feel okay because, well, I got John Morant now. You could KPJ, if you were to get John Morant for Kuzma and Bobby Portis, and I like KPJ, he becomes very expendable. KPJ becomes very expendable on an expiring contract, and I would think that somebody would be able to use him. And you could then maybe try to get yourself a wing back, somebody who's maybe not getting the playing time, where they're at. I can't think of anybody, but could you get somebody like that? I don't know what Orlando needs. Could you find a way to get Jonathan Isaac as a big, because you need a big, I don't know if you need to use that first round pick. Could you get him Miles Bridges? I don't know how much money he makes.
Jackson in the same trade.
There you go. Now for that, I think you'd have to add something else in. That's where you probably have to give up a KPJ if you're trying to get Gigi Jackson in there as well. That's a good point.
Yeah, or Ryan Rollins isn't off the hook either. I wouldn't think. Yeah, we've talked about how he has a incredibly high ceiling, but if you're trying to really remap this thing, one of those guys, and especially if you wanted to shore up the bench at all, you're probably looking at one of those guys being gone anyway. But I don't know that's on John Horst as well. What can you do? What is going to be your margin for KPJ trade this year? Because you've got 6 guys on the end of the bench that have not done a single lick of any good. Here and there you might get a big game from Cole Anthony, which is probably 3 months ago by now. Amir Coffey might hit a 3. What can he do to if you're not trying to give up one of KPJ or Ryan Rollins, or if you're not trying to give up both of them, then what can you do? Who can you flip? They make it tough on you.
Yeah, it is, and that's, you have to give up things of value to get things back of value. Rick Hamilton's first, who on our team besides Giannis would any team out there want? Again, listen, it's I think Bobby and Kuzma definitely people want. Again, it's the other question. Is Miles Turner, is he, at this point, I'm desperate. Miles Turner, to me, should be on the table. Miles Turner should 100% be on the table.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they would do that. But if it's me, Miles Turner's on the table too. And that's another $25 million.
Would anybody trade for him with that contract?
I think, again, if you're a team, maybe. Because if I'm a team, I'm saying y'all ain't using him right. Maybe if you're a GM somewhere, you're saying Bucks aren't using him right. They don't know what they're doing. It's a Doc Rivers problem. Miles Turner's a good player. AJ Green isn't eligible to be traded this year. Again, people talking about Gary Trent. He's having a down year because somebody take a flyer on him. Not saying that it's that you're gonna get something back special, but could you get back size that makes sense? I'm just trying to see something that makes sense.
You don't have to watch the Pacers tape. You don't have to watch the Pacers tape. To get anybody on board with trading for Gary Trent. That man, and I like Gary Trent. Gary Trent, I think, has completely tanked his value looking at the first half of this year. Just absolutely. So and I don't know. Maybe you throw him in as the kicker. So maybe, for example, in that scenario where we said we trade Bobby Portis and Kyle Kuzma for John Morant. You know, maybe do you add Gary Trent Jr. as a kicker if they want that too? You know, instead of a pick. I don't know if you need to.
Right. I would say Guy Nicolay in the chat on X said, you know, if you're one of those fans that's saying maybe John Morant isn't the best move, well, you got to look at, you know, Levine's age. You got to look at the back problems with Michael Porter Jr. And maybe John Morant's worth the gamble because his stuff is at least that stuff's off the court and it's not anything that's going to be on the decline or lingering issues when it comes to actually playing the game of basketball.
Now the elephant in the room, though, is the elephant in the room that we ain't even talked about with John Morant. You know who comes with John Morant?
Yep.
Who? T?
Yeah, is your man.
All right, bring T. Hey, he can be course. Hey, he can sit right next to Giannis' mama.
And potentially the foolishness and everything else. I mean, I don't know. I would have questions about John Morant and fit. I mean, I think you do your due diligence. Have questions about his fit, locker room, kind of see what really has happened there, what's going on. Maybe the situation was just falling out of favor. Maybe there's some stuff we don't know about. What's his headspace? What kind of headspace is Ja in? Is Ja in the? Would he be in the? I hate to mention it. Would it be like a Dame situation where he wants to be in Miami, he ends up in Milwaukee, he's not happy about it? Like, I don't know. I think a lot has to happen before you can get on board.
See, John Morant's got to be on last chance you mode. Because, Doc, you were a superstar. Like the Dame thing was Dame was in the mindset of, I'm a star. I'm going somewhere. I'm going to win a championship. I'm going to go help somebody else win a championship. And I should be able to pick where I want to go. Like, again, he wanted out of Portland. And I get John Morant once out of Memphis, too. I get it's mutual, right? They don't want your ass either. So you are on your lap. Like if it doesn't work out in Milwaukee, ain't no get when your next ain't listen this and this is part of the CBA that maybe if you agree or disagree that agree or disagree. CJ McCollum and the owners group and Adam Silver, this apron has changed the way we look at young players. Because it used to be, we talked about this the other night, every player got a max. Every young player that was good and young, if you come out, you average 20 a night, you can get a max. The thought process behind that has changed because of how high the salaries are and because of the aprons. And there's a question as to whether I want a Trae Young on my team. If I think I have a winning team, Atlanta's like, ooh, we can win. We can win without Trae Young. I don't want $50 million of Trae Young because I can use that elsewhere and try and build around a younger team. Memphis is looking at like, Jaren Jackson Jr. makes a bunch of money. We thought we were going to compete, so we gave Jaren Jackson Jr. a big deal. We gave John Morant a big deal. I believe they're a first apron team right now. It's not working. And so you got to go do something else. And yeah, it's just an interesting concept that's where we are right now. And oh, by the way, the Bucks send out Kuzma and Bobby Portis for John Morant. They're still under the first. I believe that they're still not a first apron team.
You lose a considerable amount of rebounding and bigs, and that's a tough thing. Because then what that's going to leave us, Pete Nance and someone else. I guess my only hiccup, and sorry about the technological difficulties, my hiccup with Ja is at this point, I'm kind of more with Trae where swing. What do you have to lose? However, can Ja create shots for other guys? And if he can do that, maybe that's how we finally see Miles Turner unlocked. Because remember, when Miles had a guard or someone that could create where he didn't have to do the creation himself for him, he was darn near an all-star in Indiana these last couple of years. So, but if Ja can't do that and it's just going to be more of the flashy stuff and I make a couple dunks here and then I go home, we're going to be in a worse situation with a whole lot more stuff on the books and what we need to have on the books right now. But it's not my money, so I say swing for it. Let's see what happens.
Just for the record, John Morant, 2022, 8 assists a game. 2023, 8 assists a game. Last year, 7 assists. This year so far, 7.6 assists a night for John Morant. So he has been able to at least get the ball out to he's been at least able to get being able to distribute the basketball. And then Mark Gomes saying, yeah, Giannis ain't letting Bobby get traded. Yes, I'm telling that shit's over. Like that whole that whole loyalty it's over. Where's Gleese? He let Chris get traded. Hey, Bobby Portis can go too.
Well, and I think the reality of it is that it's the other elephant in the room is John Horst. At this point, hey man, you're not coaching, but you're trying to keep your job at this point. If you want to keep your job, you got to keep your job at this point, because you can't tell me that if this season goes this way, hasn't done at least consider moving on from Doc and potentially Horst. You look. That'll be what, 3 straight first round exits, and then not even make it. If we keep it up like this, and potentially not even making it, we're not even in the playing at this point, right? Like, if this season ends in complete disaster, if it goes the way it's going right now, are we potentially looking at a new GM next year?
100%. There's definitely a chance of that.
So I say that this can't completely be about Giannis's comfort, right? Unless you have, it can to an extent if he gives you some assurances that he's going to resign and he wants to finish his career as a Buck, and we don't know. Who knows what the real conversations have been between his camp and the front office? But at this point, like Trey said, you are desperate. Like, you are desperate at this point. You got to do something, and if it's going to ruffle some feathers, too bad. But you've got to do something. You cannot. And I will say this. And let me ask you guys this: can you capitulate to Giannis at all at this point when it comes to who bringing in, who you're not bringing in? Like, can you? How much say does he still get in this thing with how bad this team is?
Yeah, I don't know how much say he had. I'm sure, again, if his agent is going back, his agent's running his mouth, and at least to some degree. And his agent says, we need help, get us. Hey, all right, here's John Morant. I think, again, that gets you through the season. You see what happens, play in, playoffs, whatever. If you and I know Todd's in here. T. Merrill says, talking about he's going to leave or what. Again, it maybe you're right, but there's that question of, can you put something on it? Here's the thing: if it works, and if it works, I think Giannis signs on the dotted line.
I think he might sign on the dotted line just for the potential of that Supermax being the only one to get it right now with Milwaukee. But no, JT, I can't let Giannis make any more of these decisions. His decision making off the court, if it's true, and this is all speculation, it's allegedly, we don't know if he's actually doing this, but if he has his hand in his cookie jar and this guy's going here and that guy's going there, well, we're 6 games under 500 and we look putrid right now. And I can no longer look at the schedule and say this is a win, that's a win, this team should be beat. So if he truthfully has a hand in this, then we cannot rely on him. I don't know what else we expect John Horst to do, though. And I understand sometimes guys get fired because that's just what has to happen. But when Damian Lillard blew out his Achilles, he took chicken crap and made it a chicken salad from there. That was the best thing you could do. And when he brought in Miles Turner, it was a good move. On paper, it was. Miles had just killed us and killed the entire NBA in the playoffs, brought him in, and he played good. KPJ was coming off of a promising season. Ryan Rollins showed brief moments of being a good basketball player on the uptick, and now these guys are regressing. And I think with KPJ and Ryan, this is their youth as far as being on the NBA court for the duration that they have. But some of these guys like GTJ and some, I don't understand it. And the only other thing I'll say about bringing in Ja versus MPJ is I think MPJ is an easier plug and play right now Because I think that Giannis, for this to truthfully work, they're going to need a complete offseason together to really make this flourish. And this is going to mean, sorry, Giannis, you can't go over to Greece and play with them guys for your country now. You got to lock in and get here with the Milwaukee Bucks so we can take one more run at this championship window. Whomever comes in, MPJ, Ja, whatever the offseason entails, if he's not traded somewhere else. And I heard it, Chris, earlier. I can't do it, though. I don't think I could ever say trade Giannis. But, I understand the sentiments. I do. And any trade idea, anybody you want to fire, after an abysmal performance like this and losing to a shorthanded Denver Nuggets team, I can't fault anybody for anything on it.
Well, I don't know about y'all, though, but, like, isn't the thought of a complete rebuild uncomfortable?
Oh, very.
Like, if you got, like, especially if you think about parting ways with Giannis and being in a situation where this organization is in a complete rebuild, part of that to me just seems very, very uncomfortable. Just because there are teams who are in a rebuild for a decade, right? There are teams who are in 3 and 4 rebuilds back to back. Like, what? I mean, right? I just don't like the idea of how good this team's been over the last 8 years or so, having to turn around and really face a complete rebuild. No 34, no star. You're trying to chase players. A coach trying to chase an identity. So I guess what I'm saying is that if we're going to be a complete, just goes back to what move do you make if you're John Horst? If you're going to be a complete rebuild, do you lean towards, or if you have a feeling that's going to happen, do you lean towards MPJ? If you're Trey, and you're like Trey said, if you just want to splash now and you're like, well, we need to save some assets because we're going to make a series of different moves, let's let John Morant be one of them. I mean, okay. What would you bring in John Morant with the thought process of him potentially being a part of a rebuild? I don't know about that.
I don't know why, but if the price for MPJ is a first round pick, if I'm doing a rebuild, why would I give up a pick? Why would I give up one of those for a future first round pick to then blow it up and rebuild?
Because if you're doing a rebuild, you're gonna get a whole lot back. Because of a rebuild, by rebuild I mean get rid of 34. Well, you again, worry about that 2031 first round pick if you actually do go into a complete rebuild and move Giannis.
How many picks do you think you can get? Again, I still don't know what the value. I don't think it's from the way they were talking before. The way they were talking was like, yeah, it ain't gonna be nothing crazy. Like to me, if you only get like 4 picks back, to me you're not even getting the value on Giannis. And again, if Giannis is 4 picks and players. Yeah, but again, if you're a good team, you're not gonna give up good players. I don't. The way they were talking like they weren't gonna. That nobody was gonna do anything special. Like I don't think OKC just beat San Antonio by 20. Now OKC's not trading for Giannis. Again, and now also you're talking about because Giannis can leave in the offseason, or at least not this offseason, next offseason. You're talking about having to get that done. You would be talking about having to get it done this offseason because I don't think you can let it wait. You can't doing it during the season is so hard to do big trades during the season. It's very hard to do. So if you do it, to me, you got to do it during the offseason because everybody has more money. The rosters are expanded to where you can make more. You can do more wiggling around with different players and whatnot. It's just very hard to do it with limited rosters and what have you during the year, where you be trying to do it before a trade deadline in February of next year. Then you have the awkward moment of Giannis being with the team, and that would be so. Again, if you're gonna do it, you got to do it this offseason. I don't know that I want MPJ a part of that. I don't know that. Yeah, and again, but Rick Hamilton says, okay, so he give us 3 first and 2 stars. Again, if I'm okay, I just won a championship. The only team that's beat me, I already beat. Why would it? I don't know that. Why would I? I don't know that. I don't even know that I would do that. I really don't know that I would blow up. Again, it's one thing to blow up a team that hasn't won a championship yet.
That's true.
But to blow up a championship level team for Giannis, I don't know that. I don't know that you do it.
And that championship level team is cooking this year too.
Right.
At least 65 games. Probably at least 65 games.
So This is a scary part about all this Giannis trading talk, right? Jimmy Haslam is now the gentleman that is whatever that seat is that runs the team. Jimmy Haslam did not buy that team from Senator Cole. Jimmy Haslam has no ties to the city of Milwaukee. You trade Giannis and you don't get enough back, you could essentially be moving the Bucks out of Milwaukee. Like it's so much in the we saw the socio-economical impact when LeBron James left Cleveland. Remember all those bars were shutting down and stuff like that? Like it could be worse. And who knows how, and I mean, guys like Giannis just don't come around in a flash of a pan. If that's the case, a million other teams would have it. So I think you got to factor all that in when you do it as well. My vote is always going to be to like, we got to sit down and have a plan, and we got to come up with something to get Giannis excited to stay here. And we got to get a rebuild, and we got to let him know, hey, look, we took the swing that we all wanted to make for Dame. It didn't work, so we got to dig ourselves out of this hole, and let's get back to playing good basketball. And I think Giannis still has some very good basketball in that body going forward.
I think, JT, when you bring up the point about John Horst, and I said this after the Denver Nuggets loss, where it's like, I mean, he's been on the hook from us for a while now with just the poor drafting. But at some point, like, yeah, he's on the hook for what happened this past offseason, no matter if we like the moves or not. No matter if we liked and enjoyed the signings of Miles Turner or enjoyed being able to get Cole Anthony and re-sign KPJ and Gary Trent Jr., at this point, it has looked like a failure of an offseason. It has looked like a failure as an offseason, even though you had the Dame situation and you essentially like almost forced to get rid of him because, I mean, what is he now? Probably damaged goods for you. But those marginal moves were bad this year. And so now you've got two things working against you. It's not only he's bad at drafting. Now it's, okay, the things that we kind of paraded where he's flipping guys for better players and finding some surprising guy at the deadline, that stuff starts to go out the window when you make poor signings in the offseason. Guys that can't even get on the floor. So, in my opinion, he should be gone.
Well, it all comes back to bite you in the ass, too, when you realize that you have not drafted well. When you look at that, too, and it's like, who can you rely on? You get these, like you said, Chris, you get these fringe signings, you get these guys who show flashes, and then you look down the bench and say, okay, who have we drafted that's had an impact still on this bench in the first place? You know, I mean, you got to pay the piper at some point, right? Like, I guess you do. I'm just hoping that, we can figure something out here. All hope is not lost, but man, we are quickly losing whatever remaining hope is there. Like that is, this is your 3-alarm fire. Like you got to do something, and you got to do something quickly. But what you got to do has to work, right? Like I don't know, man. But I agree with you, Chris. I do think, yeah, John Horst should be, his job should 100% be in jeopardy, given how the season's gone, if it continues this way and this Bucks team finishes out of the playoffs or there's another first-round exit.
Yeah, it is dire, man. Right now, it is definitely dire. And the Bucks have a lot of things to think about. Firing Doc, firing Horst, bringing in different players. Last time, we can kind of, get to Twitter and start the rapping here. But what do you, in your opinion? So we've gone to like what we want to have happen and all the things that we think the Bucks can do. Let me ask you guys this: what happens over the next? Let's just say over the next week. Do the Bucks make a move? Do they fire? Does Doc Rivers get fired? I mean, again. Remember, 30-13 is 53 games, right? It's 43 games, right? How many games the Bucks play right now?
41, I think.
40.
Okay.
42?
17 and 23. That's 40.
40 on the dot.
So you're right at around the mark where the Bucks decided a couple years ago that they thought that they could make a run at that point with moving off Adrian Griffin and bringing in Doc Rivers. So it's not, but you probably can't let it go too far beyond. You're right at the cutoff point to where, you can't fire a coach. Well, I guess you can, because didn't Denver did that, didn't they? They fired Malone very late. So I guess you can. But again, they fired the GM and Malone together because they were having issues. But yeah, I think my question is, coming up here in this next week, do the Bucks do anything? And if so, what? Or do they stand pat in just the next week? Not what you want to do. What do the Milwaukee Bucks do in the next week, if anything?
In the next week is tough, but my prediction is I do think 3 players get moved by the deadline.
I would not be surprised if I get that Shams notification that Doc Rivers is fired. I won't be surprised, because surprised is 30-13 and fired at 2:00 p.m. on whatever day it was, right? Not surprised is near 500 career record with the Bucks, 17-23 on the season, 2 first-round exits, and fired. I'm not surprised there. So I'm going to go there.
Does anybody on the squad have that relationship with Darvin Ham? Like, do you guys if you guys know if anybody on the squad, is anybody on the squad close with Darvin Ham? Have y'all read anything or seen that? Like,
I think Giannis is very close with Ham. I think Bobby Portis is, because remember, he was Bud's lead assistant for years before that. So I think both of those guys, and he seems to have a pretty good relationship. I think in this next week, what you're going to see is Victor Oladipo come up from the herd in that 2-way spot that Mark Sears vacated, and that's about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's tough to kind of think about, but I think every day that passes, you get closer to. You got to think. To me, I'm thinking about John Morant. I've worked myself to the point where if I see a notification that says John Morant's a Milwaukee Buck, I'm gonna be excited. And I'm at this point, I just want some kind of change. Something's got to change, and whether it's Doc, whether it's Ja, whatever, something's got to change, and that's what I want to see.
And I would say one last thing to that too.
Okay.
It does seem like when a move like that is so drastic, for some reason, it sparks a team. Mm-hmm. I'll say that. I do think that that's important, whether it be firing a head coach. Now, in the case of Adrian Griffin and whatever, it might have got better for the first couple of weeks. I can't really remember. Or just a big move, right? Like, that sparks a fan base, that sparks a team. Not saying they're going to be able to ride it all the way and be able to cement themselves in the playoffs, but I mean, that's maybe what has to be done at this point, because these losses, blowouts, losing to bad teams, close, like that does not look like a spark team.
It doesn't. All right, let's go to Twitter here. See what Twitter's talking about. At Porque No Gooey says, "Can Doc step down and save face? Is someone being blackmailed?" They were saying that Doc Rivers is they were saying that Mike Tomlin's the Doc Rivers. No. Doc Rivers is a Mike Tomlin of the NFL, whatever it was. Or Mike Tomlin's a Doc Rivers in the NFL. Playoffs. Yeah, well, yeah, he did. At Just Edgar Jr. says, "This season's a wrap. No trade fixes it. Bucks have had way more bad losses than good wins. Even their wins are mostly ugly. Doc has to go. Give the keys to one of the assistants and let's do a proper search this offseason." At Drew Behringer says, "Release Doc from his misery. Dude rather be podcasting and golfing, so let the man go do that." At DTP Virgo says, "Bucks got a clean house. I know we keep going back to the AG thing, but he wasn't this." At Sunk345 says, "The effort from everyone is horrible. Signs that the team's completely checked down their coach, and they have every reason to." At the Wisconsin kid says, "Firing Doc will save this season, save this team. This team is checked out on them. I'm just checked out for the season as well until it happens." At BSD Gazelle Says not only does Doc need to go, Horst needs to go. This is effing pathetic. At Wisconsin HFC says he left the arena 4 minutes into the third quarter, got back to Sheboygan just around 9:30, not losing any sleep over these bums. Blow it all up. It's not salvageable. At Bloodhound 1 says honestly, this season's a wash. Call spade a spade. Focus to next year. At Seafrost6C says, before you guys send hate towards Doc Rivers, remember you aren't just attacking a coach, but a father and a husband. One bad game shouldn't take away what he's brought to this team, and we should be looking forward to seeing him continue to lead our Bucks. And let's do a couple more here. At Petit, 0421 says, problem is nobody cares, just like the MPS grade schoolers. Come on. Come on. That's terrible.
Crazy.
That's terrible. Last one. At Cookie the Best, 7-Eleven says bum ass GM hired a bum ass coach just to replace him with the second coming of Bin Laden mid-season.
Oh.
2.5 years later, and I have no idea what this team wants to do. Starts with the GM who won't do a damn thing. Okay, so that's Twitter. Anything from Twitter there?
Not in Laden. Hey, what was the story? Didn't they find that man? He was in the bunkered up. Wasn't he watching something crazy or something? You know what I'm talking about?
I thought Saddam was in the bunker.
Was that who was it when they found? Didn't they? I could have sworn they found Bin Laden. He was watching. When he watches something wild.
I didn't hear that one. I don't know. I thought Saddam was in the bunker. I don't remember. I don't know. I didn't think Bin Laden was in the bunker.
Brother, Saddam looked like he was hibernating. When they took the picture of Buddy coming out that thing, bro.
Yeah. Bin Laden was in the compound. He was in the compound.
Yeah, Bin Laden was in the compound.
Hey, I don't know if he was in the compound. Saddam like he hadn't seen sunlight in. I don't know. Like the picture. I was like, that can't be Saddam. Come on, man. You ain't got electricity where you was at, brother. He was just. I don't know where Saddam was at, but he was down there in the dirt. When they pulled him out.
Let's see here.
Looking right now. Let me see here.
Okay, people. Okay, so what's saying? The speaker says the video of Giannis booing in the middle is in the middle of going viral. I'm not surprised. Yeah, when you boo your own, when you boo your fan base, when you boo your fans and you've been betrayed speculation, I'm not surprised that it's going viral. Last time I want to get before I go to, we don't have to do game ball if you guys don't want to. We can just go straight to look around. Let me ask you this because y'all were talking about MPJ. What about does Miles Bridges interest you?
I think the way that our fan base is on KPJ, I think if we bring Miles Bridges here, that's just pouring gasoline on the fire. I think he adds a lot to the basketball court. He does a lot of things that Kyle Kuzma does, but does a little bit better on the offensive end. I think on the defensive end, Kyle's a little bit better than him. I could see him as a good fit for this team. I don't think there's no way in hell that our fans.
Let me say one thing about that though, Justin. That shit don't move me. Them fans upset that KPJ has charges against him and Miles Bridges. Like, let me explain this. I've been waiting to do this as best I can. You don't get a moral high ground because you complain louder on Twitter. There's no more. There's no moral compass because you sleep better at night because I didn't cheer for the KPJ bucket or the Miles. Like that shit is so whack to me. The people that pretend that, because here's the thing: if you like the Milwaukee Bucks, to me you're complicit. You're just as complicit. You are just you. If you truly are against it, who says you get to draw the line at what's acceptable versus what isn't? I've never understood this fascination people have with, well, if you cheer for KPJ, you're for domestic violence. It's the stupidest shit I ever heard. So because again, I feel if you watch the NBA, you don't get to jump the line. If you watch the NBA, you're complicit. You are in favor of domestic violence. I could do that too. That doesn't like it. Don't. I just you watch the team just because you get mad and grit your teeth as you watch. Like if KBJ hits a game winner, you doing all that. You didn't affect not one thing at all. You didn't do shit but complain. So respectfully or disrespectfully, spare me that shit.
Well, according to the online crowd, you're supposed to boo and you're supposed to be miserable if he even makes a basket helping your team. Right? You're supposed to be bent out of shape even if he plays helping your team. That's how this thing's supposed to work, right?
Yeah. Again, I can walk and chew gum at the same time. I can disagree with what has been done or what has been said or what has been alleged or accused. I can do all of that kind of stuff without sitting here and pretending like, that I don't want to win. Just again, hey, listen, tell you something. R. Kelly get played in my house. R. Kelly get played in my house.
I'm not doing that.
R. Kelly get played
I just can't.
I do too. And R. Kelly getting played in his house. I'm just telling you.
I can't listen.
I can separate what people do.
And
R. Kelly get played in his house.
And R. Kelly is an entire legend. So R. Kelly is an entire legend. If you look at the top, I'd say top 10 R&B singers of all time, R. Kelly is likely somewhere on that list. But brother, I had to break up. I couldn't do it. I said, you know what? I just can't. That's just for me. And my piece, I said, I'm gonna just have to break up with this. Like I can't. And
do you listen to Michael Jackson?
My son watches.
Oh, do you listen to Michael Jackson?
Hang on. My son watches Space Jam. My son watches Space Jam probably once or twice a week. You know what I mean? And the Space Jam soundtrack and everything else, and he does that, and that's about the most I can do, right? But I don't have it in me to go turn on Alexa and tell her to play that that TP2.com, right? I can't. I mean, and R. Kelly,
we stepping in the name of love over here, dog.
Everything that he wrote, I mean, as a writer, R. Kelly was remarkable. As a producer, R. Kelly was remarkable. He has done so much, but I had to break up. And listen to Michael Jackson. I do listen to Michael Jackson.
See? Right? And what was he doing? Why was them kids in his bed? The kids was in his bed.
What was he doing?
You can't pick and choose.
What was he doing?
I don't know what he was doing. Being Peter Pan.
A whole lot of weird, but there was no line. Like you said, was he a line step? Was not, but most people came out and said,
no, pick and choose. No. See, we want to pick and choose what they want to do. A bunch of people said that some of that stuff wasn't true. Man.
JP.
And R. Kelly, he don't know how to hog tie nobody either.
And Mike ain't right. Don't be wrong. Mike got some issues too. I'm not arguing, right? But we know Robert's stuff was documented. We proved that Robert was. I didn't see that proof for Mike. Not saying that it's not there. I'm just saying I'm not familiar.
There's settlements that were done outside of court. Like, if you got to keep that in it, I don't listen to Mike. I don't listen to R. Kelly either. But
I bet not see you on the grill watching no damn Cosby reruns either.
Hey, leave Keith Cliff alone. No, you're not gonna do this. No, you're not gonna do this to me. You're not gonna do this because Keith Cliff Huxtable is another legend. And I listen. Let me not say that because I don't want to get canceled. Keith Cliff Huxtable is another entire legend. There will never be another. Keith Cliff Huxtable, Philip Banks, and Carl Winslow. Come on now, and Mark Curry. Come on, I mean, that's your four, right? And listen, what's my man's name from Sister?
Roger.
No, the dad. I'm talking about like
he do something.
Kind of the TV. I guess Mark Curry was more like. I'm talking about like. Your black TV dads? Nah, man.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And Bill Cosby. Listen, man. I don't know what that. I would not. The story seemed a little bit weird. I think the problem with me with Bill Cosby was all these people from 30 and 40 years ago just started coming forward with stuff, and it was like, okay, so what happened here? Some of the facts didn't make a lot of sense. It just kind of broke down. Yes, I do still watch the Cosby Show.
See, it's invalid.
And everybody has their line. My line is the pedophilia with Robert
Tim Reed.
That's a bright line. I can't do it.
Tim Reed. I think that's who you're looking for from Sister the Dad. I think it's Tim Reed. That was his name.
Tim Reed. That's another entire legend.
They said Ja fits in this conversation. Hey, so does Ryan Rollins.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Raj P says the Giannis post game was crazy. What did Giannis say post? Oh Lord, what did Giannis say post game?
We might have to start putting up Giannis's and leave Doc's alone.
What did Giannis say post game?
The problem with Giannis's post game is it's so far into the post.
Okay,
show.
I know. Okay, let me see.
Let me say one thing about Bridges while you look that up though. I am all for giving folks second chances. I do feel like KPJ, his was all allegedly. Ryan Rollins, same difference. Trey, you and I were at the game in Charlotte, his first game back. And the Hornets stood up and gave him a standing ovation. I think that Miles deserves a second chance, and I think he should deserve to be rehabbed. And I would welcome him to the Milwaukee Bucks. But when I was saying that he would not come back and it'd be a lot of turmoil, I don't think that's from any of the four of us here. But we know how Bucks Twitter will be. I mean, they're already crucifying KPJ, and KPJ's is all alleged, right? And allegedly the woman pulled and recanted the statement and all that stuff. So, but Miles Bridges will fit from a basketball standpoint, and it'll be good.
And that's again to me. I don't want people who are criminals on the team who can't play no basketball. If you're gonna be a criminal, if you're gonna steal out the target, you better play some damn basketball for me and score the bat. I'm just telling you, I'm with you. I'm evaluating basketball. That's all. And if the NBA is this, as we talk about JT all the time, if the NBA has decided that you're allowed to play basketball, I'd rather you be scoring for me than against me. Now, if you suck, go to hell. All right.
Marty Conlon is crazy.
What happened?
That's crazy.
Marty Conlon. Let me see if I can find it.
Marty Conlon is crazy. That's awesome.
I didn't see it. Y'all had to tell me what happened.
Where's Marty Conlon's comment? Is it in the YouTube?
Steeler Face said, "Man, I'd welcome Marty Conlon on this roster."
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah. Let me see here. Okay, so we got the Giannis comments. This isn't bad though. So Giannis, this is on the this is actually good. I think this is good. On the booze and five serve during the third quarter, Giannis booed back at the crowd, gave double thumbs down as he's done on the road. Giannis says he's never been a part of it. I don't think so. Something new for me. It doesn't change. It's the same thing. I thrive through adversity. I thrive when people don't believe in me. Doesn't matter if I'm on the road, if I'm at home, at a family dinner, at the practice facility. Doesn't matter. I've never been a part of something like that before. So it was something new for me. I like it. I love it. And then I think he adds to that when there's a follow-up. He says, I was definitely booing back. When I get booed, I boo back. I've been doing it all season. You guys haven't been with me on the road. Whenever I get booed, I boo back. And then they said, but this is a home game. He said, doesn't matter. I play for my teammates, play basketball for myself. When people don't believe in me, yada, yada. Everybody has their opinion on what to do, what they want to do. I'm not going to tell people what to do and how they should act when we don't play hard or when we lose games or we're not where we're supposed to be. And I don't think anybody has the right to tell me what or how I should act on the basketball court after I've been here 13 years and I'm basically the all-time leader in everything. So I don't know if that's just a little what do you think? Is that like firing back? Like he's saying I'm the all-time leader in everything, you know. You guys can't tell me what to do here. You have a problem? You have a problem with that, or do you have a problem with him booing the crowd? Do you have a problem with the comments after him doubling down on, I'll boo the crowd, and I don't care if it's a home crowd, away crowd.
I like it. I mean, we got to remember this is for entertainment, right? If you go for entertainment, you go sit your behind in a comedy show and you start cracking jokes on a comedian and he gets on you, he don't stop. Well, you walk into that. So Giannis, I'm cool with him booing the crowd and keep playing better. If that's what he uses to motivate himself, it's fine. But I do acknowledge the fact that the fans have the right to boo too. And that performance tonight, equally booed. Like maybe the fans were loud enough, whatever the case may be, but whatever he has to do to motivate himself to turn this shit around, I'm okay with it. You could boo my mama for all I care. Let's win 3 in a row this year, one time, please.
I don't put any kind of thought into these comments or the booing. I just kind of, you're losing games. they're booing for a reason. Like, it's enough with the trying to do the motivational speech after everything. I'm over that. I want to see victories. I want to see wins. I want to see them stack a couple wins. They haven't done that yet, so I'm gonna just hold judgment for anything regarding that post presser.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I as Chris said, the motivational quotes maybe go out the window. At this point, it don't even make sense. Not even fully logical, right? As long as the performance is bad, fans are frustrated. Fans are frustrated because they don't have any answers. We log in, we watch this TV, and this team finds different ways, I think, to disappoint its fan base. And these guys, they got the best job in the world, right? They're NBA players. They come in and night out, and anybody in this chat or anybody watching this just wants these players to do their job. And unfortunately, night in night out, they do not, at least not to a satisfactory level. You have to expect this if you're Giannis. You do. You have to expect at some point fans are going to boo. They're going to boo when you lose to a Timberwolves team that doesn't even have two of their horses here, and you got all yours. Like, I mean, come on, man. In the way that you were losing by 42 points at home. That is due to a lack of effort. I don't want to hear anything else. That is due to a lack of effort. Come on. And yeah, fans are right to boo. They 100%. Hey, boo Giannis too, because you out there doing it. Even though you was playing well, I'm booing you too, because you part of the squad. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it. I don't. I see nothing wrong with it.
Or do you see anything wrong with him doing it back to the fans?
I mean, I pay no attention to that. I pay zero attention to him doing it back. Him doing it back to the fans is kind of puzzling, I guess, right? Kind of funny, but like not really. It's not funny because you lose him by 40-something points. But I mean, I think I will say this. Is that a data point used to say that there's tension between Giannis and
that's something going on.
Is that it? Well, that's a fair question. If it's like, yo, this dude is booing the fans, so is he frustrated, right? Is it that? I think maybe, right? Like you don't really see many people booing their fans. Maybe.
That's what I was getting at. Optics wise, and again, maybe he didn't think anything of it, but optics wise, you're in the middle of trade discussions or people talking about it. You having to reaffirm your status with the team. You tell them, you loyalty, love the fans, and then you boo those again. And they were booing again, I don't think they're booing Giannis, but you're down 30 at halftime, you might get booed. That's like again, and I think they should have booed louder. But I think for him to do it back to the home fans, while I don't necessarily have a problem with it, when you're in the middle of trade talks, people will use if your goal is to quiet that noise down, that doesn't telling people you booed them, doubling down on booing the fans back doesn't stand to quiet that noise. That gives room for people like Shams, like for people to say, maybe he does feel like his time is ending in Milwaukee. And again, maybe. And I'd say if it don't turn around, it is. Let's not kid ourselves. If the Bucks don't make the playoffs this year, or if they get bounced in the first round, I think it's over. Like it's over. It's over.
It is. And by the way, quick point here, according to, let me not butcher this man's name, Jonathan Gauthier, who's pointed this out on Twitter. This Bucks team has now lost to the Wolves without Ant or Gobert by 40, the Nuggets without 4 of their starters, the Nets by 45, the Kings at home, the Wizards twice, and the Hornets without LaMelo or Miller. Lord have mercy. That ain't no other way to put it. And it's only January.
Yeah. Again, the Philly fans were booing the Eagles in a home playoff game. They booing them at halftime, and it goes back to your point of who is this? James Moore. And I don't even think he knows it yet. He wouldn't make it in New York or Boston. I don't think he understands it. You go to New York and something go wrong, they are on your ass. Media, and ain't gonna be the baby, hold your head up. And what that lady, what grandma saying, Jacksonville? Hold your head up now. I know you ain't You didn't do nothing wrong. You hold your head up when you get to the we rooting for you. I was like, what the hell are you talking about?
You know what?
The
Listen,
hell?
that sounded like a hallway conversation. She had the mic point on her, and she just said, "You know what? I'm gonna take it." It's like that person in the choir that got the solo, got that one bar. Hey, I'm gonna sing the hell out of this.
I promise you, New York, Philly media not give you that lady will not be employed in any of those towns.
No,
that's a Jacksonville Duval report. That's where you get that kind of shit because ain't nobody doing that. All right, y'all want to go to screw the game balls. Let's just go to look around the league. 139-106. Wolves beat the Bucks. Lakers are beating the Hawks. Good news for the Bucks. If you're looking at play-in stuff, they're beating the hell out of the Hawks right now by about 30 points in the third quarter. Warriors beating the Blazers 67-41. Heat beat the Suns tonight. Jordan Ott, that was the other coach people were talking about in the chat, is a young coach who's doing things. And again, the Suns, talking about a quick rebuild. The Suns have turned things around ever since getting rid of Kevin Durant. Rockets beat the Bulls. Rockets are 23-14. So talk about Ime Udoka, I think they had lost 3 straight coming into that one. But the Bulls lose, so that's a good thing for the Bucks as well. Nuggets beat the Pelicans tonight. Again, Nuggets without Joker rolling. The Thunder get revenge over the Spurs, who beat them, I think, 2 or 3 times. Thunder beat the Spurs 119-98. I think the comment from Shea after the game was, they asked him about, beating the Spurs for the first time. And, 3 times the Spurs beat them this year. And I think Shea's comment was, this wasn't our Super Bowl. So a little smack talk from the defending champs. Yes, okay, so that's it from the NBA tonight. I did want to Rashby says react to what he said about the excuses document. I didn't have that quote, so you tell me where I can go. I just went on Eric Name's Twitter and found the quote about the booing. So you tell me where I can find the quote about, or if you want to put it in the chat, the quote that Giannis made about the excuses, we'll read it and we can talk about it. I did for a second, again, you want to go. I thought that, the only thing is just since we talked about it already, the lady in Jacksonville who the reporter who made the comment, who was doing the grandma who was, basically, Liam Cohen and was telling him, how hold his head up and all that stuff. It was interesting. Yeah, auntie. It was interesting because did you know, I try not to, maybe I'm being naive. I don't know why that turned into a race thing. I really don't know why that turned. When I first heard it, because you guys know this is turning into this is turning into a big race thing. So, yes, it did. Okay, so I'll tell you. So it did. So what happened? So she does that, and I believe Schefter reposted it, which is why it kind of went viral. And the first thing I heard was, the first thing I said on Twitter was, who let my grandma into the damn post-game press? Like, that was my first thought was, somebody's grandma was up in there and was talking crazy, to say something like that. Because again, who does that after a loss? And it somehow, and a lot of people had that reaction, and some of the reactions were a little harsher. People were saying it was unprofessional, that's not something you do at a press conference. That's not how you're not there to be buddy with the coaches, whatever. And then you had this other side, these people, I don't know, black people, whoever, came to her defense. And the whole story was, well, she's not necessarily like from the Athletic or something. She's like a local journalist who is a community, like you ever had like a black paper in your neighbor, like in Winston-Salem, we just had a Chronicle, which was like the black paper. And so she was more from a community aspect of it, not necessarily like a sports journalist. And so that was the whole pushback was, y'all are being hard on this old sweet little black lady. And I thought it was, funny because Jamel Hill, of course, when she heard it, she was critical. And then, of course, she backtracked because, again, you heard it. You didn't see what the lady looked like. Should have assumed she was black, though, because I assume. But Jamel must not have, because then, of course, Jamel Hill backtracks because, again, people started coming after Jamel. I just don't understand how it became a race thing. Like, I thought it was, again, it's not the biggest deal in the world. I'm not mad. I just thought it was a really weird, odd thing to do at that time. I understand. And here's the thing. Knowing the backstory, she's a community journalist. She's rooting for the team. I understand it. I get that she may not look at it as critical as somebody from, your local sports paper or the Athletic or whatever publication, ESPN. I get that. But again, I thought it was just odd. I'm not mad at it. It was just weird. I just don't understand why it became. I really don't. That one, I think people pulled the race card, and there really wasn't a need to.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I know she was very encouraging. It was a little bit awkward for a press conference, and maybe those are private comments, but she had her shot. She took it as far as like being encouraging and having some kind words to say for Lynn Cohen at the roughest moment of his first season there. She certainly did. I think that I didn't know it turned into a race thing. I mean, I guess we'll do that online. People who are crying online will definitely do that. But yeah, I'm a bit shocked here. I need to get up to speed because I did not realize that this is, we made this about race. And we can make a lot of things about race, to be honest, but I'm just surprised at this one.
I think it's kind of encouraging that someone took a step off of the normalcy and just tried to encourage someone that was down. I mean, I'm sure losing a playoff game for those guys sucked. And she saw a moment to uplift someone. So I think we need a little bit of that in the world, and there's nothing wrong with it. As far as turning it into a race thing, I mean, that's wild to me. I just think it was a Southern woman that, I've had Southern white women that have told me the same thing before. If I was walking out of a point where my head was down, pick your head up. Young man, you don't walk with your head down, yada, 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 when I first got to St. Aug out here. So, hey, man, shout out to the lady for the positivity. I think it's something great. Does it need to happen at every press conference? No. But I think a one-off thing like that is good.
Nothing. You got okay, Chris.
Christine is the only real journalist out the group.
No,
it's true.
Yeah, that's true. I just, I think where it kind of went wrong with people taking it the wrong way is just that the normal reporters are not supposed to be biased, right? Anybody letting that press conference is not supposed to be biased. That's what you learn on day one, no matter what school, journalism, communications, whatever major it is. That's why I thought it blew up into this. But again, like, okay, are we really surprised race got brought into it? Like, there's people that's racist out there. There's people that's misogynist out there. There's people that's, sexist out there. Are we surprised that when this thing blew up that there's a certain crowd that had a reaction a certain type of way? I'm not. That's why I don't really have anything.
I see.
Fair.
Yes, that is fair.
Yeah.
I do see. So Raj P says he was asking about the dead legs comment Doc made, and he basically said, "Let's be honest, it wasn't dead legs." He said it multiple times, trying to prove a point. Said Mike Conley is 37. He was running faster than him, and that the Bucks had a day off. The Bucks had a day off yesterday, so it doesn't make sense how they can have dead. I agree, Giannis. Yeah, again, it's an excuse. Again, anybody can see through excuses, like dead legs. So, again, if Giannis is openly challenging Doc Rivers at this point, why do you need to keep him?
Well, West tried to make a lot of excuses on.
He did
on the broadcast form, and we can give you. We're not gonna give you 100% pass for Denver, but we can understand the altitude and all that stuff. But you're back in Milwaukee for 30-some hours now, so you had plenty of time. And I'm sure they didn't practice yesterday or today, because if they were that dog tired in Denver after that 9-day trip, I would hope with Doc being a veteran coach, he gave them the day off. So this is, man, this junk is on fire, man, and it's tough to watch. I would tell you, if I would have given a game ball, it wouldn't have went to the NBA, though. It went collegially.
Well, if you want to give a game ball, I just didn't have it. My bad. I just skipped it.
Absolutely not. I took my balls right home.
Yeah, I ain't even. Yeah,
my balls at home. Absolutely not.
I would have gave mine to Johnny Blackwell for the Wisconsin Badgers. Made the first game-winning shot against University of Minnesota today since 2016 when Bronson Koenig knocked one down against Villanova. Just amazing basketball game between the Badgers and that team from that state we won't mention. That's god-awful, but thank God for having more than one screen you can watch at once.
There you go. James Moore says Glenn is like that girl who's not interested in a boy, but rather than tell him he has no shot at getting her to Pound Town, she makes up excuses instead. Okay.
His
I just
balls
like
are at
the
home
fact
too.
that we just gonna call that man Glenn. 'Cause that's his name. Your name.
Yeah.
We calling you Doc because that's just what people been calling you. You've been going by that. You go by Doc, but your name is Glenn.
Mo Hunt. Well, it's better
than
than you calling to Zim Tim.
He did that on the radio?
Come on, doing this.
Huh?
He did that on the radio?
He did that on
18?
here.
Oh,
Man,
No.
JT called him, man.
Did I do that on the radio?
No, you did that here.
I didn't do
You
that on
did
the
it here.
radio.
You didn't do it. You did it on the radio?
I probably did.
I thought you did it here. I didn't know you called. I thought you did it here.
No, listen. The man's name is Tazim. We're gonna call him Tazim, even though people know him.
See.
Listen, I'm just saying people know him as, you know, you didn't call Muhammad Ali Cassius Clay, but that was his name.
See.
Clay. They knew him as Cassius Clay.
See.
No, not doing it.
Can't do that.
Not doing it.
Mo Hunnit 5717 says Giannis said maybe his voice is like a broken record because he's been saying the same thing and nothing's changed. Again, if Giannis is making comments like those are pretty flippant comments where, you know, those are telling. Again, if again, I'll be the first one. I told you guys I was against, as people were talking about fire doc all season. I was against it. And at this point, again, now what I would be against is you want to go with somebody else on the bench, whether it's Ham or Yeager. Again, I'm assuming to be Ham. You know, I can't tell you that that's a bad. I can't tell you that would be a worse. It can't get no worse. So, and again, the reason I didn't like it back in when it was AG is because the Bucks were winning 30-13. Well, I don't need to fire anybody with 30-13. But at this point, yeah, you're not a player team. You're in the lottery, whatever. Yeah, no, you can definitely fire your coach 40 games in when that's the case, and you have Giannis as in it, and it ain't gonna be Tom Crean.
Well, it's definitely gonna be Tom Crean, but that's the thing. When you fire your coach mid-season, you're essentially punting on the season. And I don't care about the mess that the Bucks tried to sell us when they fired AG in the middle of the season. Oh, we need Doc in here. They're insane for that. The reality of it is I think typically when you fire your coach mid-season, you're punting on the rest of the season. 9 out of 10 times you are. And so because we thought we were playing for something, was it second round of the playoffs, was it a deep playoff run up, it didn't make sense to fire Doc earlier. However, the longer this goes on, and I'm just telling you right now, if we are 10 games under 500, February starts, fellas, yeah, I think we might as well stay there. Let's see if we just get a higher pick. Let's see if we can't get that. Well, wait, we don't have a first round. Damn, we don't have a first round pick. Never mind. We just cook. We're just pain, like James said, pain everywhere. Yeah, you know, I'm never a fan of firing a coach in season without reason. But I mean, at this point, what we're seeing from Doc, this is not working, guys. This is not working. And I will say that if you do want to salvage this thing, maybe you do have something in Darvin Ham. You know, having a coach like that on the bench who's got a lot of experience in the relationships with these guys and has a head coaching experience. Maybe you do. Maybe that is another move you make out of pure desperation. Is you fire Doc and you make these trades and you tell Darvin Ham you got 40 games to figure this thing out, or 30-something games to figure something out.
The Bucks do, I believe, so they do next year's pick. So it says Atlanta will receive the more favorable of Milwaukee's 2026 first round pick and New Orleans 2026 first round pick. So the more favorable of that is going to be New Orleans, and Milwaukee will receive the less favorable of the two via New Orleans' right to swap for Milwaukee. So I think, yeah, we would have the New Orleans is worse. They would have the more favorable pick. So Atlanta will get that pick. So I do think we just couldn't trade it, but we do own our 2026 pick. I think that is correct.
They allegedly will have the more favorable pick if we don't get in that stupid lottery and then win the stupid thing.
Well, right, yes, I see what you're saying. Yes, if something happened and the lottery shook out wrong, yeah, we could, but I'm thinking we would. I'm thinking I think we're gonna be better than that.
I'm a lot like you, Trey, and I think we were on the same page as far as not firing Doc for that. The thing that makes this completely damning for me, and the reason why, if he is let go, was one of his comments today in his post game when he said that I have to find a way to fix the Giannis minutes. I have not, the non-Giannis minutes. I have not done a good job in fixing that, and it's on me to do it. When you're putting all the blame on you, and you're also pointing out to the media and everyone else that you're failing at your job, I think you're giving us no choice but to fire you at that point, right?
Yeah, no, there's no question. There's no question that's where it is. At this point, one more. I just want to make sure that, and then I'll give. I guess anybody else wants to do anything. I just want Kevin O'Connor. I don't like Kevin O'Connor, but anyway, he posted this is earlier today. The Grizzlies are unlikely to receive any unprotected first round picks for John Morant, and are willing to take on bad contracts in hopes of acquiring more young players and draft picks in trade talks. NBA sources don't expect Morant's market to be much different than it was for Trae Young, who was dealt to the Wizards. Executives around the league say that the Grizzlies are signaling willing to pay on bad contracts, blah blah blah. So think pick swaps, not unprotected first. Moderate bets on rookie contracts, not exciting young players. Even getting those assets might require that Memphis take on bad money in return, which again, bad money is Kuzma. It would be a Kuzma type of deal. I think Bobby Portis actually has some quality value to him. So, but that's where things are right now on John Morant. Anything else around the league, or anything else that you guys want to get at and talk about before we get out of here? Okay. Steeler faces Giant coming to Milwaukee. He's not gonna have a choice. John Morant is out, and you know what's funny? Trae Young didn't want to go to Washington until he found out Washington was the only place that wanted him, and all of a sudden the story came out. Trae Young wants to go to Washington because that was the only team that's gonna pay him. So that's how that's gonna go. He's
not gonna play. Didn't they say they don't expect him to play a lot this season?
No, yeah, he's not, because Washington wants to keep tanking. Yeah, Washington's in tank mode. Well, the only other thing I'll say, did you see this? Why did y'all see LeBron's wearing a jersey patch for like his 23rd year? That's just weird. Like, I don't understand why he wear a patch. If he's not retiring, what is the point in wearing a patch for the rest of the year? I don't understand it.
Number 23, maybe. I don't know. It could be as simple as that.
But he's like, the NBA's, but it's like the NBA has to prove. It's just weird that like they are giving him a patch. That sounds odd. You're not retiring. You should get and they said it was because he's played 23 seasons. Because nobody's ever played 23 seasons. So when he plays 24, is he getting the patch for 24? I don't know.
That's kind of.
It's odd. Okay. I just thought it was odd. That's all. All right. I don't have anything else. That's it over here. What was the final? 139-106. T-Wolves beat the Bucks tonight. Appreciate you guys in the chat. Appreciate the super chats. Appreciate all the commentary, all the love. Marsh is the only player to wear. Is it about the number? But why does he need patch? I don't get the patch. I don't know. Yeah, he can say he's the best ever, but he wasn't the best ever. Come on, don't do that. Again, we appreciate the chat, appreciate the comments everywhere, Twitter, wherever. We appreciate it. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you were here with us, rocking out after a 139-106 loss. What's the deal with the Milwaukee Bucks? It's just rough. And now the Lakers the Hawks have closed this game. It's an 11-point game with 9 minutes to go. So the Bucks definitely don't need the Hawks to win here. But yeah, James Morrison, thanks for the podcast. Right here after the next game. That's what we like. That's what we like. Huh?
Shout him out too. He big Texans fan. They went and handled business yesterday. He's been asking us all season about the Texans, what we think. So shout out to you, James, and your Texans. You went out there and did what you were supposed to do.
But they folded Aaron Rodgers' ass up like a presser.
Hey, Mike Tomlin, y'all see Mike Tomlin step down today?
Oh, yeah. Mike Tomlin stepped down.
Mike Tomlin stepped down today.
Yeah.
And it seemed to me like things probably just they were a bit stale in Pittsburgh. I think Mike Tomlin
but look at the quarterbacks he had. I get it.
Well, right.
Look at the quarterbacks he's had in the last and made the playoffs with them. It's an impressive. I don't care what you say. It's impressive what he's done given the talent he's at the quarterback position.
It 100% is impressive in what he's done because you know what? You know what it is? I'm too good of a coach for my team to actually be bad, despite the fact that there are years where they should have been bad. Mike Tomlin's a 500. With Mason Rudolph, 500. I mean, Mike Tomlin, with Kenny Pickett going 500, it's wild. He was that good of a coach there. And I just think that the rumors were he wasn't feeling as appreciated as a whole by the community for the job that he had done. And Mike Tomlin's a hell of a coach. Mike Tomlin go crazy in Atlanta. Right? Mike Tomlin, the rumors he wants to be somewhere with warmer weather. I think he's going to do a great job. My guess is he steps away, just from what I've read, he steps away from the year, does maybe the TV thing, steps in the booth for a year, and gets a job the next year. But Mike Tomlin, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a job. Not only gets a job, becomes one of, if not the highest paid coach in the NFL when he signs his new deal.
Well, it's interesting because Pittsburgh still owns his rights, and you'd have to trade for Mike Tomlin because, again, he was not fired. He stepped down. And it wasn't a mutual parting of ways. It wasn't. He stepped down on his own. So Pittsburgh still retains his rights. So, see. Somebody's asking about. Asking about James White, Houston versus New England. Who you got? Here's the only thing about Houston, man. You got. What's that? They delivering some pizza.
I'm trying to make sure it's not mine. Better not be.
Houston, New England. Who do you have? Listen, Stroud got to play better than he did the other night. You can't have 4 fumbles and throwing pick. It was so up and down for C.J. Stroud. And defense basically carried him to a win. I think they'll be able to get to Drake May. Had Houston played? Did they play New England in the regular season?
I can't remember.
I'm not sure.
I want to say Houston, man, because I just like Cam Newton being right so much on everything and all the journey. So he was right on your boy from Philly, Jalen Hurts. He was right on the Packers, and now I need him to be right on Drake May.
He was not right on the Packers.
He was right on the Packers.
Green Bay Packers.
Michael Parsons got hurt. That's not being right on the Packers.
Oh, well.
Cam Newton's an idiot. He's just like an old-ass auntie, too. Stay out of Aunt Helen's closet. Gilly over Cam any day of the week.
Hell no.
Twice on Sunday.
Listen, let me tell you. What did I tell y'all on this show before that Packers game? What did I say? Caleb
Nothing that made sense.
Unique ability to put this team on his back in the fourth quarter just has a way. And so you can never count the Bears out. It is not over till it's over. I said that. That's what I told y'all. I've been watching every single game. I'm told y'all. I see it. It's the craziest thing to me. It makes absolutely no sense. Accuracy issues and something about that fourth quarter. He just locks in, and it's like, wow. It is absolutely crazy. Doesn't always work, but it sure does a whole lot. And he locked in that fourth quarter, right? Like he did. Now, there was some controversy. Which, by the way, what y'all doing with Matt LaFleur, man? Is the rumor that he wants too much money? Is that true?
Is he wants what?
Is the rumor is that LaFleur wants too much money? Is that true?
Oh, I don't know. I've turned off all the football stuff, so I haven't heard anything.
I got you. Yeah, from what I read something they're saying that both sides want to do an extension, but LaFleur wants too much money, and this should be wrapped up this week. But if it's not, teams may make inquiries about if the Packers are looking to trade him. That's what I read earlier. Again, you never know. You can't read into anything. It's Twitter. It's agents putting stuff out. Who knows? But it's unfortunate for the Packers. Jordan Love, again, what I said last week on the show, I'm very high on Jordan Love. I thought Jordan Love played very well. I thought Jordan Love played very well. I don't know what the game plan was in the third quarter. I don't know why LaFleur consistently, and I'll say this consistently, takes his foot off the gas. Team gets up to the big lead, what's working, and then he just kind of stops. I don't understand that, kind of going on autopilot. Justin, I know you may disagree with me. He didn't make Nixon dive out of the way at the end zone. He didn't make McManus miss those kicks. He didn't do that. But what he did do was call a relatively vanilla game plan when you could have kept your foot on the necks of a team and put them away for good. There's no reason why. Numerous opportunities. You could have went up 28-3. Oh, Lord, 28-3. Man, imagine that. Right? You could have been up 28-3. Right? At least 26-3, 24-3. And, it's just a perfect storm of bad that happened. Vanilla play calling, some 3-and-outs, missed kicks, multiple missed. Funny thing is, did McManus miss 2 kicks within 50 yards?
No, one was, the extra point and the 44-yard field goal.
Yeah, that just can't – strange things that happen. Strange things. That just typically doesn't. And, it's unfortunate. But on the same note, the 4th and 8, Caleb doing the Jumpman logo, ain't nothing you can do about that. That 4th and 8 throw. What you gonna do about somebody who can throw the ball and then have that man catch it? It's crazy. That's like the David Tyree level of once in a lifetime. You're gonna make that throw and get that catch on 4th and 8. Hey, that day the Bears found it. I don't want to say the Bears had it. The Bears found it in that second half, and the Packers lost it.
I don't know. I don't know how much of that I agree with. I think a lot of it is bullshit, but it's all good. I think he threw. I think he threw the goddamn ball up in the air, and it was one shining moment. It was divine intervention. Dude happened to go under. You know how you stop that throw from happening, JT? If you're a cornerback, you don't let the dude behind you. Who the hell? Stop calling for in the 20-yard line. You can't let a dude get behind you in that. This is twice Keyshawn Nixon has done that. What I'm gonna say is I'm gonna give you pushback on. You said LaFleur called a conservative second half. He didn't. He started out the second half. If you go back and watch the all 22, he started out with a play action fake, and Musgrave was open over the middle. You know what happened? Rasheed Walker didn't hold his block. That's where it went. We lost that game. We don't have enough time to talk about that. Offensive line didn't block. I'm not gonna call out individual dudes, and Trey's still gonna argue that bullshit point. That's pass interference. It's ball game.
It wasn't passive. Again, you got to fight your way back to the ball. It's not passive in the playoffs. I'm not calling that. You got to fight your way back to the ball.
If it's not pass interference, it's illegal contact. It's something.
You got to fight your way back to the ball. You got to fight back to the ball.
It's illegal contact. He touched a man down the field.
You got to fight back to the ball.
What are you talking about?
You talking about that play where who was it? Was it who was that in the end zone?
That was Luke Musgrave. That was interfered with by
they were face guard. It was a face guard. I can't remember. They were face guarding. But again, in the playoffs, maybe. But is what they call marginal contact, whatever you want to call it.
But you can't
to get that call. You got to fight back through. You got to be fighting back through the defender, and instead you're falling backwards.
You can't call that marginal contact, then to hold that Rasheed Walker when he actually touched someone, marginal contact, you call that a hold. It's not marginal contact. That's why there were 2 penalties on the Chicago Bears for 0 yards and 7 on the Packers.
Here's what I will say though, and this is true. Packer fans got to put some respect on Caleb Williams' name.
There's no respect on Caleb Williams' name.
Put some respect on Caleb Williams' name.
Hey, but here's the other thing, y'all, about y'all O-linemen. What happened? I just saw this picture today. Green Bay O-lineman wearing sleeves in the cold. Nah, that's just like Romeo Dobbs with that damn Guardian cap on. Things are getting a little soft in Green Bay. That's all I'm saying. Y'all wearing sleeves. TJ Lang would never be caught dead with no damn sleeves on in the damn playoff.
Never had no sleeves on.
Come on now.
That is true. 100%. I give you that.
Yeah.
No, but I do. I kind of like this because I think rivalries are good for sports. The one thing I love about the NFC North, everybody absolutely hates each other.
Yep.
It is a beautiful thing, and I think the problem is the Packers were beating the Bears for so long. It wasn't no damn rivalry. They beat you like 10 straight times. What you don't do here? Like, it wasn't a rivalry. And now the Bears have won, 3 out of the last 5 times they've played, and they've won the most significant game between the two franchises in probably.
They have not won the most significant game of the two franchises.
Between
they won a playoff game.
And the Packers. This is the first time they played 100 years in the playoffs.
No,
that's the most.
No, it's not.
Franchise. How's it not?
We played in the 2010 NFC Championship game where we beat them and won the Super Bowl.
The Bears played the Packers in the 2010 NFC Championship game.
Yes.
Okay,
and we beat them with the Super Bowl.
The second most significant game between the two teams. Fine, I'll give you that. Again, this is a huge game, and the Bears won it. So all I'm saying is that
no, they didn't. They didn't win that game. The Packers lost that game. This is big brother and little brother.
I love you keeping that energy, but the practical reality is that the Bears beat that ass in the second half. You can't come on now. Come on. In fourth quarter, the Bears turned the Bears. Hey, they hit the Jets, and the Packers they had nothing for them.
You know what that is, JT? That's the equivalent of you hitting a golf ball off a tree and it going in the hole. It's a fluke. 2 times the Packers pissed down their legs when they beat us.
They pissed down their leg, right? The Packers 100% pissed down their leg. And then the Bears came down there and punched y'all in the mouth.
JT, Jaden Reed doesn't drop the ball. It's ball game. Christian Watson, and I know Tazim is making
a 4th and 8. It doesn't happen. If Jaden Reed doesn't make the jump man throw, it's ball game. That was a 4th and 8.
Stop gassing that throw. Like everyone, he threw that ball up in the air. There were 7 people there.
Chris, what is this?
It's not like that man split his legs. That man's legs was split like he split his legs like football when you're doing stretches. He split his legs like that. His legs like this.
Hey, do mine like that too.
Both feet off the ground on 4th and 8.
I don't think I can.
I mean, what's it ain't no gas, brother. Like NFL films.
There's gas it all you want. That boy throws the ball up. He don't look downfield. He got lucky. And then you got shit like this in the comment. This is why I hate. This is why I hate casual ass Packer fans. I know love. Oh no, that's not the one I was looking for. I don't think. What do you say? I know they don't do this in football, but sometimes we need a relief quarterback in. Like, what the hell are you talking about? He's 4 touchdowns, 300-something yards, damn near a perfect game. But whatever. Put a relief quarterback.
Hey, I love Caleb's clap back on Lil Wayne. You let the dude paint his nails, do this. Listen, I hear you, but yes. I just.
What was the clap back?
You said what?
What was his clap back?
Caleb retweeted it, said something Iceman, whatever, and acknowledged it, retweeted with some Iceman logo. I was like, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I would post. See, you know me. You go low, I go to hell. I would have posted that picture of him kissing Birdman with the. I'd have posted that picture of him kissing Birdman. Like, you ain't gonna say nothing about me and no nails. That's what I would have done. Left it right.
That's what his teammates did. Either way. You do have to acknowledge that the Bears. You can be at this point. You can say that Justin. The Bears didn't do it. Yes, they did. Oh, they did do something special that fourth quarter. Come on now, I get it. I know it. I know it hurts to admit, but the Bears brought it that fourth quarter. They did.
They did nothing special in that fourth quarter. The Packers beat the Packers. The Packers beat the Packers. Because you had a dude kicking a football like you hit a 6-iron, 4 left.
But they put up 21 points on y'all. They put up 21 points on Green Bay in the fourth quarter alone, sir.
And if Christian Watson catches the ball, it's a mute point, and we got a fluke. You talking
about the catch at the very end?
Yeah, he should have caught that ball.
Brother, that would have been a really. I mean, I get it. You're an NFL receiver, you should be able to get. But that ball wasn't.
JT,
it was kind of high. I mean, He should have.
JT, he put up one hand to catch the ball and said he quit on the route. He said he should have caught the ball.
I mean, okay. Like I guess,
Hey.
man.
Hey, JT, you keep celebrating them wins. You enjoy them.
Brother, I'm not even a Bears fan. I'm a Colts fan. I'm in hell. Look, let's keep it. Look, I am in absolute hell right now with Big Sig, who's going to sit John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin on the market.
Hey, Chris killing right now.
Roll with gonna roll with Shane Steichen and Chris Ballard for another year. I'm in hell. Let's just keep this a buck here. Like I just live in Chicago, so I gotta watch these games, and I'm around fans, so I watch all these games.
You'll be done Sunday.
Yeah, from around the way. So I mean, different.
Okay.
That's a DC thing.
He's still from around the way. So,
okay. Well, like I said, we will continue watching this divisional round, and the Bears move on. A lot of teams moving on. We'll see how this thing shakes out. Man, I wish my Carolina Panthers playing the Bears this weekend. I think it'd been a lot of fun to have Bryson and Caleb go toe to toe. But that's not how the cookie crumbles. Again, we appreciate everybody for rocking out with us, joining us in this loss. A lot of people still in the chat. If you send a super chat, we appreciate it. If you think the Bucks need to make changes, if you are upset about this basketball team, if you don't like what you saw on the floor tonight, if you think trades need to be made, coaches need to be fired, you got to hit that like button. You got to hit that like button on the way out. If you don't hit that like button on the way out, then you are a Doc Rivers supporter. That's just how that goes. So hit that like button. Tell a friend and tell a friend and tell another friend about the Cream City crossover. Hey, it's the best. Oh, Chris breaking out the cheese grater. Oh, that's messed up. Cheese grater came out. Wow.
Oh, man. Oh, that's great.
The zesty grater
from
JT's
camera. So,
and you know what's wild?
Oh, now we get dang. Chris, you got us back. I couldn't get
doing that. I don't understand. Like, why the Caleb was a different dude, man. I just don't understand why the cheese grater. Why he had his tongue out? And he was doing that.
I don't understand how they got all these cheese graters in the crowd. Isn't that a weapon? I don't know. I feel like you could.
Cheese graters in that was crazy.
In the ground. There was
a guy grating a real block of cheese.
Yeah, I don't understand how they got all that stuff in the stadium. But anyway, here's the thing, though, Justin. It ain't gonna be long. You can laugh at them because they're gonna be in Indiana. They got to play their games in Indiana pretty soon. They're gonna be playing their games in Gary, Indiana. So
no way. Indiana couldn't offer that team enough for them to actually move that team to Indiana. The issue with the Gary move is that A, is Gary, Indiana. B, teams, you don't build a stadium now without having an entertainment district. So that would mean Gary would have to build up a bunch of hotels, they have to build up restaurants, they have to build up.
It may not be Gary, but I think, again, they can't get a deal done.
They already got it. They got new casinos in Gary.
You said what?
New casinos in Gary?
Yeah.
Oh, hell no.
I
wouldn't go to Gary if I knew the way.
You know Gary's a boat?
Ain't no way in hell I go to Gary, Indiana.
Nah, hell no. That's the problem. And so nobody's gonna come and stay. It's just a tough situation because who the hell is gonna come stay in Gary overnight? You're not going out. What you doing? Like you're not trying to, you're not gonna have Michelin star restaurants in Gary. Like that's not gonna happen. Like people, I
just couldn't let this thing in.
You would need 10 years to get even close to supporting a stadium with an entertainment district and everything. Like there's absolutely no way in hell. Like you know what you gotta do. You gotta get up and Gary. What's the favorite word? You gotta gentrify for real the entire city. You would need corporate investment to come in and be like, yeah, Amazon, we'll put jobs here. We'll do this. We gotta kick it. It just to me seems like it's insurmountable to make.
That's what Gary looked like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what it looked like. It's Courage Cali Doghouse.
They got that brand new Hard Rock Casino there, and that's where they're allegedly supposed to build it.
I bet you they ain't even put a guitar up outside of it. All right, let's get out of here, man. Appreciate everybody for joining us tonight. Man, we appreciate it. Thank you for staying with us. Late on the East Coast. It's late in the Midwest too. But we'll be back at it. We always have fun. It is enjoyable. It is the best Post-game show and all the link. Hit that like button on the way out. Tell a friend about the Cream City crossover. This has been a Cream City Media Group production from the Group.
JT.
Chris King.
Justin.
If I am an enemy, it's only because I dare to tell you the truth. Don't take no wood nickels.